opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality. Today,
the following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. And I want to say thank you to everybody on the panel for joining me tonight. So I want to say, hey, Bruce. Welcome.
Hey.
And I'm going to say hi to Ruben. Hi, Ruben. Thank you for joining me tonight. And thank you, Six Nations, 31 Kings.
What up, world champions?
And tonight, I have a special person that joined me this evening, and it's a U.S. Rooftop. But thank you for joining us tonight.
Nice. Janet, I'm ready with a PBR, so thank you.
Okay, well, you're welcome. And I'm going to say hi to everybody in the chat. Let's see who's here real quick before we get started. Grumpy Old Ninja, Kitaro. He's the first one. So thank you very much for showing up tonight. I really, really appreciate you being here. And then Jackie Blue, I really appreciate you. She's one of my first wrenches. I think she was my first. And let's see who else. Bruce commented, and baby girl, hi. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you.
Grumpy.
And do what?
What about Grumpy?
I said Grumpy, didn't I?
Not
yeah,
yet.
at the very beginning. He was the first one in the room.
Oh, okay, my bad.
It's okay.
Oh, dear
Let's
God.
see. Oh, and this
mind.
is Jeremy. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate it. Oh, Emperor, thank you for coming. He's ready to be entertained. That's what he said. Hope we can entertain you a little bit. Let's see if there's anybody else. Okay, just a bunch of people hanging out, and hopefully, if you're not gonna say anything, that you will still have a good time. Hopefully, but I wanted to start off tonight with something sad. I know I like to try to do happy things, but we lost a very important person this week. That I think he's like an icon to a lot of us for just for being outrageous and crazy. And I wanted to do this special for him since I just thought this was a really good video. So I'm going to play this for everyone tonight. And I hope you guys enjoy it. But this was a video that was put out about Hulk Hogan when he broke down in tears, describing the moment they shot Donald Trump. And it gives him a little bit, it gives you a little taste of why he decided to be verbal about his beliefs when it came to politics. So here we go. I'm going to play this for everybody. That was really good.
It completely changed my mindset. And you know what? If people like me don't speak up and quit being a coward, and quit being scared, quit being silent. I told my wife, I said, I'm not suicidal. I love life. And you know what? I want to live forever, which I will, my Lord and Savior. But at the end of the day, that pissed me off so much. I had to say something. I had to speak up. It doesn't matter who it is, Kamala Harris, Biden, Clinton. It doesn't matter who it is. That's wrong. They crossed the line with me. So from that point on, I decided that I just couldn't remain silent. Sorry, man. That's a tough question for me. Yeah, just a second. I'll be good. Just 2 seconds. Yeah, that really pissed me off. I saw it happen to John Kennedy, actually, when I was in elementary school, too.
Earth to God, come in, God. I know you're there.
turning down the volume. I don't want to get us in trouble.
Yeah, that right there would piss me off having to turn down the volume. But then again, fuck you, scrubbers. Fuck you, you pile of shit. Commie pinko piece of shit, garbage ass company sitting on American fucking real estate.
God was looking down on, God, I get emotional when I say it. He was looking down on President Trump saying, "You're the one." I believe a higher power was saving him for us, to save us.
We need your light, we need your love to heal the world you made and save us now.
Emperor, nobody died when I said it. Get fucked.
He believes deeply in God. He prays. And there's no question that on that day, God was looking down. And you better believe that somebody was watching over him.
That moment in time, I really believe that he had the blessing of Christ and God over him to protect him and to save him. God bless.
I do believe that there was an act of God on that day because it was a close call, and I believe a higher power definitely saved him that day.
Wow, I really love that video. It just gives you a little bit of a taste of other people's feelings for what almost happened, to Trump. And that it wasn't made up, it wasn't fake. And it's nice to see real people that are famous, that happen to be famous because of, who they are, speak out and not be ashamed. You know what I mean? And that's nice. And they weren't getting paid just to say those things. And I don't know, it gives me hope in humanity. So I just wanted to show that. But here's a few other things that this is a nice thing, I think, a good thing, because I like to open with something, not, full of crap or whatever. But I thought this was really good because, Trump is out of the country right now, right? And this is people in Scotland waiting to see our president in their country. Look at that. Look at all these people. This makes me proud to be an American, that this many people from around the world, other countries, respect him. I just wanted you guys to see that. I think it's important because we don't get to see this enough. You know what I mean? We don't get to see the respect other countries have compared to for our country now, because we don't have sleeper in chief anymore. So I wanted to share that. That made me feel good to see that. That was the other one. And then there's this one I wanted to share. So I hope you guys like this too. Here we go. I love this guy. He's great. So here we go. It's another one for everyone. Here we go.
I want to know how you feel today. Not you folks. You folks back there. You white, guilt-ridden liberals. I want to know how you feel today. You folks that constantly smother your kisses upon every single inch of ground that Barack Obama walks upon. Your guru, that angel who can do no wrong. Oh, how do you feel today? Now that the cat's out of the bag and the facts are out that your hero, Mr. Barack Hussein Obama, took part in one of the most horrific acts of treason in the history of this country, the Great Russia Collusion Hoax. How do you feel? Before you answer that, I do want to give some credit to Barack Obama for some things he did that he never got credit for. So let's do that, shall we? When he created, along with his wife together, they created the greatest racial divide in this fucking country. Good job, Obamas. Good job. Kudos. Or this one, when Barack Hussein Obama handed over to these goat fucking Iranian regime terrorist $2 billion. That's with a B, kids. $2 billion in cash. Your cash. Why? To help them continue their terrorist wrath of hell on earth. Good job, Mr. Barack Hussein Obama. And now here we are, the act of treason, trying to keep a good man, Donald Trump, from becoming the president of the United States. Russia, Russia, Russia. He colluded with Russia. It was all fake. Thank God for fucking karma, because it backfired on these fucking jerk-offs. Because Mr. Donald J. Trump, my great president, is now in his third fucking term. Oh, yeah, I fucking said it. See, you folks can't tell me how you feel because you're turning your head. You can't even look in the eyes because you know that we know that you know that he fucked up. See, but you're those kind of fucking people who look away from the horrific car crash, not because you're squeamish, but because you caused the fucking car crash. See, and then you just slither off into the grass and go underneath that rock like the lizard you are. So, when I ask you how you're feeling, I know you can't tell me. It's okay. Come here. Come here. Come over here. That's it. Come on. Come here. That's it. It's okay. It's okay.
I just love him. He
You know,
is so awesome.
Janet, do you
heard
know
that
who Nick
in
DiPaolo
the
is?
chat. Do what?
Do you know Nick DiPaolo?
He sounds familiar.
Okay, he's the guy that Crowder put DiPaolo on after him and Dave Landrew. After those two split, pretty much publicly working together because Crowder and him just were toxic together. Well, they bring on Nick DiPaolo, who he has his own 20-minute show on Rumble, and it's worth getting a Rumble account just to listen to Nick DiPaolo. And he does do some stuff on the premium side as well. But he's very worth listening to. What you just saw with that Northeast accent and that fucking swagger, that machismo, that male power, that is exactly what you get with Nick DiPaolo. Now, granted, both guys are probably pretty slight. They're probably under 5'9", but they probably can go and they could work a whole 8, 10, or 12-hour day. And it's just good to have something like that to listen to if you've got a long drive ahead and you just want to hear pure Americana. Just, somebody talking about what we can do as Americans, what we can actually be, and how we can kind of help out our families, be a better father figure, a provider, somebody who can be trusted to go get a job done. That's not always sitting on some previous set of exploits or other things they might have achieved in the past. They're not always looking at old things. They're looking at the future. Like, I've got grandkids on the way, so I want to make sure that I build them a good porch. That way, we have a spot to grill, barbecue. We have a vantage point in the backyard to watch the kids play. That's awesome. And I think what we just saw is actually about 90% of what most American men want with that guy.
Well, he's an artist, and after what happened during the shooting when Trump was shot at, he painted a special picture for Commodore, the one gentleman that was shot that jumped on top of his daughter and pushed his wife out of the way.
Corey Capitori.
Yeah.
Thank
you. He painted his picture and presented it to the family and stuff. He's just a good guy. He's from New York. He just says it how he feels it. And ever since I saw his first video, I just really, really like what he has to say. And I try to share some of his videos whenever I can. But this next video is kind of like opening the gate for us to start talking about Obamagate, basically, even though he gave us a little bit of it, but he did it at a direction of who he's wanting to blame things on, because it's really those people, the people who don't want to admit that even if there's a mountain of evidence, they're still going to turn away and pretend like it didn't happen. You know what I mean? Those people. And we all know people like that. Every one of us knows someone who is one of those people. I mean, I have it in my own family that no matter how much evidence they have, they're still going to look up at the sky and, wander around and just pretend like they have no idea what you're talking about, because they don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't exist. But I want to share this next one with you. I think this is it. Let me see. No, that's not it. Yeah, it is. This is it. This one first. This is the one Rooftop and I were talking earlier in space earlier today, and we were talking about all kinds of stuff. But this was one of the things that we brought up. And I'll let you talk a little bit about it, Rooftop, and then I'll play the video.
So earlier today, so I don't, I'm one of those people that have cut the cord, and so I don't have all the basic cable channels. I have a Samsung TV that has these, Samsung TV channels, like some local news channels, and then Live Now from Fox. It's weird. But then I was turning it on. I usually just have it on the Weather Nation channel. But I saw Tulsi Gabbard in a press conference after Caroline Leavitt was speaking on a press conference. It was earlier this week. I forget which day it was, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those days. And I heard Tulsi Gabbard launch the Tulsi Torpedo 2.0 at Barack Obama. And I said, now that she's a Republican and the director of of national intelligence for the Trump administration, this reminds me of something she did 10 years earlier. And I remember 10 years ago when I was still in France, engaged to a beautiful French woman right before everything went bad. And I said, wow, I was scouring the online news sources for who is going to speak honestly about what's going on with the Charlie Hebdo attacks, the attacks on the Jewish supermarket, the attacks on the churches in France. And was looking for someone to say the words radical Islamic terrorism. And Tulsi Gabbard was the one that did it on CNN to Wolf Blitzer, basically telling Obama and telling the world that Obama is not being honest about the threat. He's not being honest. And Tulsi, is this the clip that I sent you, Janet?
No, this isn't. This is a different one. But I'm going to.
All right.
I'm going to share the link.
Show the one he's talking about. That's what he's leading up to.
I know, but it's on CNN. You might get your channel in trouble. But I'll play it. I'll pull it up. Go ahead and keep talking. I'll get it.
It's a clip. It's fair use.
Well, it should be, but
you're not broadcasting the whole episode of Wolf Blitzer. It's under fair use. It's not long enough to be struck.
Well, go ahead. Keep talking. What we're doing.
So anyways, 10 years apart, both things. One time she's playing for the Democrats, the other time, 2025 she's on the Republican side, Trump administration, different role. But back in 2015, I was like, who is this Democrat in Congress from Hawaii with some ridiculous Hawaii, like, I don't know, it wasn't a lei, but some kind of those things you put around your neck. And I said, okay, so I looked her up, and she had military experience. She was on some committee dealing with foreign intelligence or something like that. So I said, okay, maybe she's actually speaking some sense from the other side when we were just hearing all this Obama mumbo jumbo, the racial division, all the things that Obama did that were just so dishonest, deceptive, manipulative, political. I was like, how can it actually surprised me. I was staggered, kind of like, watching a really good movie, a thriller, Bruce, I was like, whoa, I don't know if I got to take a step back. That was on the edge of my seat. And Tulsi Gabbard made a really good insight. Now, not everyone was watching CNN that moment. I had to search for it, and I probably found a clip online, basically on their website or whatever, because at that time I was in France, didn't even see that. And then 10 years later, earlier this week, Tulsi Gabbard launches the Tulsi Torpedo 2.0 straight at Barack Obama. And someone was describing it earlier today as like the golden calf scene and the 10 Commandments. He might survive this because like former presidents have protection. He has a lot of these deep state machines for him. It might not get the consequences that we all want him to do, but a little of that shine, a little of that luster, the history books will record this. And he's not so shiny. He's not their golden boy now, Obama, because this will stick. The first one 10 years ago, when she was brave enough to say radical Islamic terrorism or radical Islamic, jihadis, and this time when she's going to nail Obama with this corruption and scandal and political maneuvering. This is treasonous. Obama should see real life consequences for this. In reality, I'm betting that it's not going to really happen the way that would satisfy everybody. But I think this is not going to be something he can skate away from and hide behind George Clooney and his Hollywood friends.
Okay, well, here we go. I'm gonna play this one where she calls out Obama.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims.
Go, shoddy. It's your birthday. DNI Tulsi Gabbard taking to the White House podium, laying out what she's calling a treasonous conspiracy, claiming former...
Oh, wait, this isn't the right one. It must have went to a different one. So hold on, I gotta go back and get the other one. I put that in, and this is the one that came up. So hold on, let me do it again.
Hey, Janet, while you're doing that, can you share my screen? I have something very special to share with everybody.
Okay, yeah, I'll put this up here. Can you see it? Okay,
yeah,
while you're doing that,
I'm going to grab control of this real quick. This is a fun little ad that came out, and I think everybody's going to just love this.
I love this one.
5 years ago, this shit.
A few years ago, I couldn't breathe, but then I started taking this, Comply. Now I breathe just fine. Side effects of Comply may include dizziness, obedience, improved breathing during police encounters, and sudden respect for authority. Do not resist while taking Comply. Ask your officer if Comply is right for you.
That's a good one. Who put that up?
I couldn't breathe, but then I started taking this.
Rest in hell, faggot.
Now I breathe just fine. Side effects of Comply may include dizziness,
this is called Unstoppable
breathing during
Upload.
police encounters, and sudden respect for authority. Do not resist while taking Comply.
I want to
your officer.
congratulate Floyd on 5 years of sobriety, and I'm glad that we're making those jokes openly, because I remember during the height of the BLM hysteria, I tried making these jokes and people were like, "You can't do that. You're going to be called a racist." And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Try canceling me. No, I'm uncancelable. But anyways.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of how I felt. I mean, I couldn't stand the thought of being where we were having all this unity and shit about fucking Floyd. Like, are you serious? We're getting upset. We're getting statues of George Floyd. Are you kidding me?
They took away my Aunt Jemima. They took away my Uncle Ben. And what did the Land O'Lakes girl do to anything, right? Besides, them taking away the girl and keeping.
Well, she just looks up at you with those eyes.
Yeah, dude, I miss the Land O'Lakes. There's a big void right there. I refuse to buy anything from the Pearl Milling Company.
Oh, wait a minute.
Formerly Aunt
Wait,
Jemima.
we got Sweeney Sweeney back with American Eagle. We have her now.
Who? What's coming back?
Oh, come on. We're coming back little by little. The American Eagle new thing.
Wait,
Sweeney Sweeney.
How about the Cleveland Indians or the Washington Redskins? Are those coming back? Tell me.
They're coming back soon. My father actually has, I have to ask my brother where it is, a leather, real high quality leather Redskins jacket.
Sweet.
Yeah. But wait, I gotta find where it is.
In Northern California, well, I'm only saying this stuff because Janet needs us to buy us some time for her technical issues. But there was a famous ski hill called Squaw Valley where they had an Olympic Village. They hosted the Winter Olympics. And they basically combined with Alpine Meadows and have been renamed Palisades Tahoe, even though it's between Donner and Tahoe. it's not. It's not. It's on the way to Tahoe. But yeah, it's like Squaw Valley was more descriptive, and none of the local tribes have any problem with it. It's just these Chardonnay circles in Berkeley that get up in arms and want to virtue signal that they're, looking out for other cultures, not their own, and don't care what anyone says as long as it's their feelings and their Subaru Outbacks with the coexist stickers. Anyways,
it's interesting. Just as a side note, if we're waiting here for this information to get done.
Sorry.
If you look at the, are you back?
Not yet. I'm still trying to get to that.
No. So here's an observation I had. Basically, it's a what if, and then basically it's a hopeful theoretically. What if you grew up, and I'm 57, so I grew up in the 70s and 80s, as a child and then a young adult, with my heroes. I was there in the theater when Superman came out, 1978. I was there for Star Wars, Indiana Jones, all the movies Steven Spielberg done from Jaws up to, my gosh, all the 90s films. I was there, everything, did all that. And as for all of us, and we all met each other, they were messages. Like, being a hero, stepping up and being a leader. And then we saw in the last 10 years, especially 2015 to 2025, all that being destroyed and all that money being lost. But somebody got the money, so somebody shorted stock, did something. There are people doing things around here. It's working for them for one reason. Like myself, I have no desire to watch Superman, no desire to see Fantastic Four. I'm done with the MCU. And they say that would be a win. It isn't, because I still believe in what they aspire to. I never owned anything from Superman, but I believed in what Superman stood for: truth, justice, and the American way. The bottom line here is they're not going to win. Let's play.
Okay, you guys ready? All right.
This is the one. This is the one, Janet.
This
the one
is the one. Yeah, this is the right one. So here we go. Get ready.
2015, January.
What is so frustrating now, as we look at the situation there, our administration refuses to recognize who our enemy is. And unless and until that happens, then it's impossible to come up with a strategy to defeat that enemy. We have to recognize that this is about radical Islam. This is as much a military war as it is an ideological war. And we've got to understand what that ideology is and challenge it, understand it, so that we can defeat it and protect our citizens, protect the American people. That's something that has to be done in order for us to look at places like Iraq, places like Syria, and places really in different parts of the world, North Africa and Nigeria. This is not just about one group called ISIS or another group called Al-Qaeda. This is about an overall threat posed by this radical Islamic extremist agenda that exists all around the world, as we're seeing, unfortunately, most recently in Paris and in Europe.
So very quickly, Congresswoman, you're upset you didn't hear those words from the president today? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm upset that the president and the White House, whether it's today or yesterday or tomorrow, is not actually saying this is a war that the Islamic extremists are posing against the United States and against the West. And we recognize who our enemy is and come up with a strategy to defeat that enemy. It's going to be slightly different in different places. It'd be different in Iraq and different in Nigeria. But unless and until you recognize who our enemy is and understand them, then we won't be effective in defeating that threat. And we're going to continue to see the kinds of tragic incidences that we've seen most recently in Paris.
There you go.
Yep, and I was basically saying the same shit on French TV, and it created a rift between my ex and me because I had to elevate security concern. We lived in the suburbs, a nice one, but on our way to the train station to go to work in the morning, we had to pass by these people that had sympathies for the Islamic extremists. These kids that were not working, got a check from France every month to sit there, drink their fucking coffee, wearing some terrorist nation's soccer uniform, leering at all the pretty girls going by, having this hatred and this intolerance, slapping people around. And I was just trying to tell people in the West what was going on and what I was seeing up close in France. And it was totally understandable that these guys were homegrown jihadis. And even when they got caught on film saying, we have done this to avenge the prophet, there are so many people in the West, in France, in Germany, in Sweden, in England, even in the United States, they're saying, oh no, there's, it's a religion of peace. George W. Bush was saying it.
Never.
Barack
It was
Obama was
never a
saying it.
religion of peace.
And they were basically lying. And when you went on TV to counter it, I got called an Islamophobe. I got death threats in a foreign country before I ever got death threats back here in my home country. And it's one of those things where I thought Tulsi was very brave to go on CNN, on Wolf Blitzer's show, to challenge and speak actual truth to actually the guy in power, Barack Obama. Unfortunately, this was kind of buried. CNN kind of put it on another page on their website instead of front page. And I don't think a lot of people have seen this clip video from January 2015, a week after the Charlie Hebdo attacks and the attack on the Jewish supermarket in Paris. But at that time, you guys remember, churches were burning, cars were plowing into Christmas markets. Radical Islamic terrorism was announcing it was going to attack. Then when it did, the French papers all said, we're not going to print the name of the attackers because it could inspire possible ideas that these people are of Islamic origin and blah, 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 blah. And I saw so many people running cover for radical Islamic extremists, terrorists, jihadis, whatever you want to call them. And I thought that Tulsi was good to call out Barack Obama. That was 10 years ago when she was a Democrat. But now that she's DNI and she's going after Obama again for something different, I think this is going to actually stick because the Islamic thing, there's going to be people that argue, oh, it is a religion of peace. Rooftop, you're just an Islamophobic racist. But, I think what Tulsi said in Caroline Levitt's press conference earlier today, that's going to take a little bit of the shine out of this golden calf that so many, it's basically idolatry on the left, the people that worship Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, this terror apologist, this corrupt, evil individual that tried to keep President Trump from, doing what he needed to do. He is, he has been exposed, and we have the receipts. And I'm glad that Tulsi is not, all gas, no brakes. And I hope they actually get some consequences. I don't think it's going to really happen the way we want to. But now the history books in 10 years, 25 years, 50 years, I think they will record this if they're honest.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing. It's like, again, with as long as we have to heed what was said in that video. If you look at read between the lines, and 10 years later, Europe is a shit show. And this is basically what happened. They went from their main weapon being, the lone gunman or the guy that went to a room and, opened the vest up, Al Akbar, and let it go. Instead of doing that, they're doing gang rape.
Well, Ruben,
and that's their thing now.
It's funny.
Same terror.
The Sikh community of a bunch of cities in the UK were getting family gang rapes. Brothers and uncles and fathers are going around and getting these Sikh girls. And people were trying to say, oh, you guys are Islamophobic or racist. And the Sikhs are like, well, we're brown people, and they're going after us. And finally, some of the UK sources started mentioning it. Some of the American media started mentioning it. But then we've all been branded far-right, anti-Islamic extremists for doing legitimate...
Yeah.
What?
All you have to understand is that the prophet, he was never a prophet. Most prophets have the ability for foresight, and they can tell things are going to happen in the future. All he was a little warlord, pedophile, rapist. And you're on the right track. But unfortunately, modern America wants to fucking put blinders on and think they're people just like us, which they're not. They're trying to conquer and enslave, and they've got tools. They've got things like Ilhan Omar and her fucking brother that are trying to subvert the will of the people of Minnesota.
Rashida Tlaib, they tried to establish a Muslim-only town in Texas until the pushback, and it was exposed. A lot of Muslims are allowed to visit the Vatican, holy sites of Christianity, Buddhism, other things, but you cannot visit Mecca and Medina if you're not a Muslim.
Nope.
And so it's always a one-way street for them. It's our way, and screw
you're a
everyone
woman,
else's way.
You can't even go into some of those holy places.
They did it.
Even if
They
you're a
did it.
Muslim woman.
They're doing some well, abomination building in Mecca, and they had to hire engineers from Europe, but all of them had to convert to Islam before they could even go there to work.
Mm-hmm.
And there's video on there's a YouTube thing on it that they talk about it they just passingly. They talk about the engineering of the whole thing, and then they glaze over the fact that to come here you have to do this. So then it's like every firm in Europe, they had like, you have to bend your will to change your religion for a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot
The same people that say that these same morons that says get the jab for your whatever bullshit.
The problem that I have with it is that nobody wants to talk honestly about Islam. I read a book. I've got a couple of them. It's called The Story of Muhammad. I just held it up, by Harry Richardson. And it goes from his birth to events that happened later in his adulthood. And only once he hit Medina was he able to get traction with his beliefs. And it doesn't really detail his infrastructure he had. But everything I've read about Muhammad, he never could write a word. He was very much an unlearned man. He could not write. He could not read. But he was supposedly, boy, that's going to be blasphemy for some people to hear, but he was having seizures. And then to cover the fact that he was medically weak, he would start making up this fanciful tales about this stupid religion he had in his head. And others were like, we can use this as a tool and break away from the Jewish religion around here. And so basically he lifted everything he could out of the Torah, and he tried to bastardize it for his style of living, which involved having sex with everything he could get his hands on. And thankfully, the best tool in Western civilization's pocket is the fact that he had multiple kids. He had a lot of kids. 3 of them were rather prominent, and that's why we've got the various 3 major sects of Islam, Wahhabi, Sunni, and Shia, that are always fighting amongst each other. It's so good to have that, a religion that continuously beats upon itself for not being Muslim at all. And that's the biggest tool in Western civilization's toolbox, is that they can't agree on what a true Muslim is.
Well, I want to play this other video that I was going to play first, and then I want to play this, and then we can talk about it. But let me.
Is this a Tulsi video?
Yeah, it's another one. It says they called Tulsi Gabbard a Russian agent for this warning about Syria's rebels and stuff. This was another one that I thought was important. So I would like to play this one, but here we go.
It was shocking and a betrayal to me and every person who was killed on 9/11, their families and my brothers and sisters in uniform. When, as a member of Congress, I learned about President Obama's dual programs that he had begun really to overthrow the regime of Syria, and being willing to, through the CIA's Timber Sycamore program that has now been made public, of working with and arming and equipping Al-Qaeda in an effort to overthrow that regime, starting yet another regime change war in the Middle East. DoD train and equip program, again, begun under President Obama, is widely been known, looked at, and studied, that ultimately resulted in over $500 million being used to train who they called moderate rebels, but were actually fighters working with and aligned with Al-Qaeda's affiliate on the ground in Syria, all to move forward with their regime change and not acknowledging what was obvious at the time and what has unfortunately borne true, which was that a regime change war in Syria, much like the regime change wars in Iraq, the toppling of Gaddafi and Mubarak, while these are all dictators, would likely result in the rise of Islamist extremists like Al-Qaeda taking power. I shed no tears for the fall of the Assad regime, but today we have an Islamist extremist who is now in charge of Syria, as I said, who danced on the streets to celebrate the 9/11 attack, who ruled over Idlib with an Islamist extremist governance, and who has already begun to persecute and kill and arrest religious minorities like Christians in Syria.
Okay, I wanted to share that because all of this really goes together when it comes to Tulsi Gabbard, showing that this is a woman who served in the military, okay, and she knows what she's talking about, okay, and when it all circles back, who's it circle back to? The Obama administration. So, I don't know how to stop that.
It's fixation.
I know
What's the typing sound?
you need to turn your mic down a little bit. Your keyboard is
Who has
really
the
loud.
mic up? Who's typing away with the mic?
That's Six Nations.
That would be me.
Sorry, it's okay, but
It's like
you're
it's like I had an earthquake.
Full
in Southern
gamer mode
California.
right there.
yeah. I was gonna say turn off your mic when you're.
That's why you call it the shit show.
Online, but
Yeah,
I
I
wanted to play that because
went
it
back with
all
my
goes
settings.
back to Obama. All of it does, and what he was wanting more and more of in our country. He wanted to separate blacks, whites, Christians from Muslim, everyone. He wanted all of us to be at each other.
He loves segregation. He loves the division.
He likes ethnic enclaves. Now, this is a Democrat. I'm going to give you just a
And
small
she was a
bite of.
Democrat when she started saying
No,
these
hang on.
things.
A little bit of California history is that the Democrats of Napa, Sacramento, San Francisco, they were okay when there was an influx of Asians for the Union Pacific Railroad. You guys heard about that construction that wasn't really recorded very well. They after they wanted a place to settle, they didn't want us to live in the country. They wanted people to be in these little Chinatowns in Sacramento, Oakland, and San Francisco, in ethnic enclaves speaking only that language, not to integrate. And the Democrats of Napa Valley were so pissed off when in the mid 80s, one of the golf courses, the Chardonnay Club, was sold to Japanese interests. It was a huge scandal up there. Now, this is Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi, Kamala Harris. This is Gavin Newsom's territory. They like to keep things a certain way. Thomas J. Geary, an actual racist, was a Democrat from Sonoma County, elected 3 times to Congress, elected 3 times to represent California's 1st district. And if you guys, people talked about the Chinese Exclusion Act, which is the first American law that blocked people from coming in only by race. That was set to expire between 1882 to 1892. It was a temporary measure. But this guy was like, that's not enough. Let's extend the ban indefinitely. So what's actually the really heinous thing is the Geary Act, Geary Act. And if you look at the Library of Congress, you'll see who signed it, who went for it, which, people from which party went for it. But this was only rescinded by Congress in 1942, 1943. So when people are asking, hey, why is, Democrats and racial division and trying to act like the good guys on the whole race thing, the Democrats are not the good guys. They're the party of slavery, Jim Crow, KKK, even more than racism, eugenics movement, Margaret Sanger, and then the Japanese internment camps and Chinese exclusion. So, yeah, don't let anybody ever tell you that the Democrats are the good guys or there was a switch in the 60s. We know the voting records. Dinesh D'Souza covered it in a couple of his films like Hillary's America. And now they're the party of the Jew-hating Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, AOC, and all those other freaking, I call them the Jihad Squad. But yeah, those losers. So racial division has always been their weapon. And when they lost the plantations and their slaves, and they didn't have the useful idiots of the KKK anymore. They didn't have the Margaret Sanger eugenicists anymore. They used their union power in the big cities to keep people impoverished and beholden to the Democrat Party. When they had the riots in the 60s, they used that to consolidate power, to make everything about race and division. So the Democrats have been historically the most evil party ever, and using race, sex, all those things. And people need to see that it continues today. Look at Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, all those Islamist radicals that are in Congress today. It's sad.
Yeah, it is. But the only way we can try to change it is by sharing this stuff. anything we find and we have a chance to share it with others,
People need to know
they
history,
might not
Janet.
know about it. Yeah, but that's the thing. Why would anybody know about it if they hadn't learned it from someone or heard it from someone and then researched it? See, that's the whole thing, is getting people to listen long enough to say, wow, maybe I should read about that, or maybe I should listen to that video or watch that documentary.
People have been programmed not to care, and that's the
Yeah,
whole point.
and that's the thing.
But the thing is, that program didn't affect me at all. I don't understand. As I still cannot fathom how no one can understand. Oh, sorry, how can no one have no interest in the government at all? How it works, how you operate, how everything operates. But that's the thing. A lot of people. It's the bottom line. It's convenient that you're assigning something to somebody else, and you just do not care, or are told not to care now.
You're right. You know, Ruben, I invited 100 people or more into a space talking about how to calculate GDP via the expenditure approach. Janet and 2 other people showed up to understand a very basic 5-minute or less explanation about how to calculate GDP, consumption plus investment plus government spending plus net. Very easy. Very simple, crazy explanation about how to compare one country to another country using metrics. Very easy, doesn't require much algebra, doesn't require much. Janet showed up, but the majority of people would rather talk about whatever they were talking about in the Punch Bowl or those other lame spaces, those big spaces with cults of personality where they're all just in agreement, repeating the same jargon, blah, 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 day after day. And when you go try to wake people up in real life, I talk to these surfers and I try to get them to tell me if they like Bob Marley or the Beatles more. And this is their usual response. They're smoking weed and they're saying stuff. Hey, bro, you don't want to think it's all good, bro. It's all the same, bro. It's all the same. It's all good. If people think with that stupid stoner surfer California stupidity, it's all good, bro. It's all the same. You know, people aren't able to rank like 3 things on an Olympic podium. They can't tell what's good, what's bad. They refuse, and they think it's bad to exercise the most basic of judgment and decision making. Which way should you part your hair? What's better food, Italian or Mexican? These people are just checked out. They don't want to think. They love being stupid and live and quote unquote living their best lives at the beach. And we're doomed. We're doomed.
Yeah, but
Well,
that's
thank
idiocracy.
God they don't rule the world.
No, but the thing is that they don't need to rule the world. It's all set up for the idiocracy. It's going to be a combination of that with, a really retarded AI. Everyone will think that's God or whatever. It's just it's that
Rondo. It has electrolytes.
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. I never saw the movie.
No, Rondo is basically Gatorade, and I just poured some Gatorade on my lawn, and I think it actually does some good, Ruben. So, idiocracy, there's some nuggets of truth. I'm just kidding, but yeah, I do like. What's wrong with Gatorade? You guys don't know the history. The Gators, isn't that Florida or isn't that University of Florida for their sporting program? If you're going to be using your energy at that extent, having those electrolytes and that little sugar in that drink. I love lemon lime Gatorade and orange Gatorade. I think the 2 original classic favorites are the best.
Well,
I will tell you what's wrong with Gatorade. I like most flavors of Gatorade, but that white cherry, whatever the fuck they did to that, white cherry is nasty.
Are we going to discuss all the lost flavors of Gatorade now?
Lemon lime or orange, the classics. All right, we'll move on.
Okay, well, this next thing I wanted to bring up, I thought was pretty interesting when I got to watch it, how Glenn Beck breaks it all down. And I just thought you guys would be, everyone would think this is pretty interesting because I do like Glenn Beck. I don't watch all his stuff, but I do like some of his stuff.
She says that he should be indicted and prosecuted. Not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Joe Biden, it's not going to happen. Hillary Clinton, not going to happen. But really, these 2 are the ones that are the kingpins. She's the one starting it and pushing it forward. When it doesn't work, he steps in and he says, mutate, and now push it forward. And then what happens? I mean, if I was doing a chalkboard of power These are your kingpins here. And they started everything. But then I think you have the ones who should actually go to jail, and we'd have a chance of putting in jail. I think definitely these two. I think this guy too, because this guy's been involved, and now he's doing all the fundraising, and then he's also doing all of the lawfare against Donald Trump. Now he is still going, so he's actually a designer. Okay, but these are the ones that you should.
These ones right here.
Add Adam Schiff to that.
Yeah, all these and
He
these
was there
three.
for Benghazi too.
He thinks the top three should be the definitely go to prison or go to court, at least have us take them out. And then all these on the left for sure. But he doesn't believe, this is his point of view, remember, that the top two that started all of it will see a day in jail. And after it's a lot of people believe that simply for the fact of, remember what happened. She got caught with an illegal server in her bathroom, and all that evidence and emails that were coming out now, we're getting even more now. Okay, we're getting
She got
more stuff
grilled. She
released
got
right
grilled
now.
on C-SPAN in front of everybody with the facts about the Benghazi and the email server and all that. And Hillary Clinton is like, nothing sticks. It's like Teflon. And she's nothing is going to stick against Barack Obama. I think the history books might record it more kindly than the consequences they're actually going to get in this mortal
Well,
realm.
do you think that this whole thing that's going on right now with this recess, okay, they're going to take this recess, right, until sometime in August. Well, during this recess, Trump would be able to put recess appointments in, get some of these judges changed in that he's wanting to get in. But do you think that maybe they keep saying that Johnson keeps saying he's going to come back every 4 or 5 days and make sure that he can't do that? Why? Why would he do that? Why does he not want to get these people confirmed that Trump wants in? It's already 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Is it because he wants to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen, that these people aren't really brought to justice? I mean,
wait, if Mike Johnson comes back, that doesn't mean everybody else is going to come back unless they're all following in lockstep, right? He's just going to be back every 4 days, but who knows who's going to show up until they actually show up?
Just to stop Trump from being able to make recess appointments.
Well, then we know a little bit about if that's true, and I haven't heard any of this.
Yeah, if he does
if this happens,
then we're going to know.
Let's see what happens first, because there's a lot of blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
but
I saw the same thing, but it hasn't happened yet. So.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet. But what I'm saying is, what happens when he does come back and stop him from being?
But here's the bottom line. Here's where my concern is. It goes back overarching. With Twitter, you are damned if you do, damned if you don't. The point is, everything's happening so quickly, and then when people put a post, people take that as the gospel truth of what actually happened. It is not the point. So everything that's going on regarding Epstein, the president, all that stuff, it's noise. We can speculate. And I saw the same report in regards to the fact they're going to come back for recess, not to let those things happen. If it doesn't, then we talk about it. We have to talk. We have to be more diligent now, more than ever, with things that are happening as they happen, and take them with a grain of salt. Hey, it's early on. This is what we saw, because we got to be very careful.
Yeah, but look at it. It's 6 months. He's over 6 months as president, and he hasn't even been able to get his judges put in.
Yeah, I know.
See, that's what I'm trying to say is, everybody bitches and moans when Trump fires anyone or does anything. But look what happened during the other administrations. They were able to get stuff no problem.
Yeah, because they play the
game.
They have the parts in place. It's like they set up a chessboard, and it's all set up for them. It's a well-oiled machine. They know agenda. They don't have to squabble between themselves about who's a libertarian, who's a MAGA, who's a rhino. they will squabble later, but they know that they have to win first, and they understand it's a game, it's a strategy, it's long term, and they're committed to the plan, right? The Marxist whatever leftist plan, and so they go in the right direction. They point their rifles in the same direction, and the rest of look at how the conservatives are squabbling. Some of them are just inadvertently, intentionally or unintentionally, running propaganda for Iran and Qatar right now. They go after and they get sucked up in that whole noticing rabbit hole retardation, and they won't listen to anything else besides a very specific framing. And you got to watch this YouTube video to understand the history from blah blah blah. And then you see cracks in the so-called conservative side. But I have to remind you, Janet, that everything you see on Twitter, most of my friends in real life aren't on Twitter, and the people that are on Twitter will never uh, waste their time in that rabbit hole retardation known as spaces. So this is not a representative sample of America at large, thank God. But you do see some morons in there talking. So I always tell people, think about the numbers. When you see the Patriot Front people jumping out of a bus, how many total did we see? 70 that one time? What's the population of the United States? And you have to think of things in actual numbers and have some scale and look at the 10,000 foot view and not overreact or underreact to things. And I think there's a lot of people that want to just do a quick reaction because on Twitter everything is about timeliness. Excuse me, on X is you want to be the first to reply to somebody, you want to own them or get the sound bite out. And you don't need to be timely all the time. You just need to be thoughtful and considerate, because for me, I'm not trying to grow my audience. Thank goodness. I'm trying to shrink it and not have growth for the sake of growth being the only thing, because there's a lot of growth inflation, people wanting to be quote unquote influencers or quote unquote spaces hosts or thought leaders online. And if you're not thinking with that mentality, you can actually take your time to try to parse information, let the chips fall, do a good analysis, validate sources, evaluate sources, do a tough analysis, and look at things with scrutiny and critique it positively, negatively, or neutral. Because when anybody tries to do a quick reaction and get that hot take out there, yeah, sometimes it can land based on probability. It has a probability whatever low or medium of landing. But a lot of times people are totally off the mark. And had they waited to do a thorough investigation, to do a vetting of sources, and do actual rigorous research with actual statistical analysis rather than what most people call quote unquote research these days. They did a lazy search on Google or some shit, and they came up with some article, and then, oh, this proves my point. No, 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 no. Those YouTube videos trying to prove their point. If someone loses an argument to me, and then they say, well, this is an authority from YouTube, it's a 2-hour video talking about blah blah the Middle East, 3,000. No, you lost, bro. You just fucking lost. You don't know how to do actual rigorous research. And it's just lazy, it's complacent, it's stupid. Unfortunately, these are the geniuses we have to deal with on X.
Yeah, but that's one reason why at the beginning of the show I put these are strictly the opinions of the panel. Okay, stuff like that. I play all that stuff to try to keep myself from getting in trouble with anyone, because I'm playing their sound bites or whatever from their shows. And I'm doing that because we're discussing what we're hearing and what they're saying, and what their opinion is and what our opinions are to what they're saying, that type of thing. That doesn't mean that I think that he might do that. I'm just saying we should be aware that they could do that, because we are already behind. We need these new judges, and I definitely would rather have Trump's judges in there.
Oh yeah, of course.
Other assholes that are in there now. I mean, look.
Not that I think he made a good pick with Amy Coney Barrett, because I think he got some bad advice. He relied on the expertise of a few people that were screening judges. There was a very conservative judge, I think she was a Latina from Florida, who would have been a great. She was good on the Second Amendment, on other things, reading originalist, constitutionalist. And Trump bypassed, and she was a woman too. So if identity politics and checklist diversity was a thing, that would have been Cool. And he picked Amy Coney Barrett, and I had hope because her last name was the same last name of someone who makes really, really cool 50 cals. But and then she goes on, and you're like, these are puzzling decisions. But this is the history of the Supreme
Yeah,
Court.
but the only thing is,
A
you
lot
can't
of
help
times
that.
a lot of times Obama pushes someone and they're not as liberal as he thought. Bush puts somebody on and they're not as whatever. That Bush, this happens. Supreme Court justices are there for such a long time, and in Trump's case, not that long a time, that they can flip on you. They can change. They can go in different directions. And that's the danger of these lifetime appointments, because once you get them in there, they're there.
All you can do is make a decision based on the evidence you're handed. That's it. Just like in your jury, you hear what they put in front of you, you read it, and then you weigh whether it's more or not enough.
I
You see
just
what I
think
mean?
it's stacked
And it's the
against
same
us
thing.
because you can have a partisan like Merrick Garland, who we know would have been so partisan to the left. And we have Ketanji Brown Jackson, who's so partisan. And then the best we can do is get an, someone that's a wild card like Amy Coney Barrett. I was happy with the Gorsuch pick, but Kavanaugh and Barrett, let's see how their term is not over. Of course,
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
we don't
But
have the whole of their voting record, but let's see how they make decisions in the next 2 years. I'm curious.
Yeah. Okay, me too. I'm waiting to find out. But it's funny when they asked one of these judges before she was put in position whether to define a woman, and she wouldn't. That told me all I need to know. So I don't
Ketanji
care.
Brown Jackson.
Yeah. So no matter what she says, I'm just not going to make a big stink over anything she says, because basically this is a woman that I don't believe should even be there. But
Well, Joe Biden made it a point that he was going to appoint a black woman, and he used the word woman, and now she can't even define what a woman is. This is
I
how
know it's
freaking
ridiculous and
delusional.
stupid.
We're in clown
And it's
world.
sad.
We
It's
are
sad
in
that
peak
she
clown world.
is in the biggest court in the land for our country, and she can't even tell you what a woman is. It's pathetic. But I'm going to go ahead and move to this.
Janet, did you guys ever listen to anything Ketanji Brown Jackson ever said before she was appointed? Did you guys ever see any videos on her? Did you
I never looked into it or anything.
Okay. Whenever you start seeing these garbage ass people, and I'm going to say anybody in DC is garbage ass, even Trump. Anybody starts talking about putting a judge in place, because Trump has done some stupid things with the Second Amendment, and that's where a lot of my concerns are.
Yeah.
They start talking about judges, and I start doing my research on them. Ketanji Brown Jackson had a lot of litigation and lawful fuck ups on her decision making. And if you had done research on it, you would have realized, like, wow, this is a really bad choice. I can't believe that we're going to choose this human Detrius as the person that's going to be answering for anything. But this lady, she had made so many poor decisions. I knew that once that she got in and she had a microphone attached to her lapel, we were in for a whole slew of bad audio takes, because that woman, she's unable to form a decision on her own. She really is. She's got to be handheld on everything, and there's a lot of judges of both both stripes for DC.
Bruce, it's actually worse than you think. Here's how she was picked. And this is probably it's not. I don't. This is my joke. It's a joke, but it's probably 99% accurate. What they did is they looked at all of the people who were eligible to be on the Supreme Court, and then they did a few checks. The two of them really. They wanted to look for a black woman. That was the first check. Second one was who actually had the most to say on record. And she topped out because that's the one thing that they've always said about her. She talks too fucking much.
Yes.
So basically, if you were to look at do those two searchers, who is the black woman, and look at all case records and give me the person who spoke the most, she'd be number one. That's how she was picked.
That doesn't surprise me, because she can't come up with a decision on her own, and she's horrible with her opinions. And we've seen that since she's been in office. from the word go. I mean, it's just on brand for her. And the best thing we could think is like maybe sickle cell anemia will have a good year this year.
See, yeah, funny. How old is Ketanji Brown Jackson? And can I send her a $1,000 gift card to Popeyes to kind of accelerate the shortening of her tenure there? Because like I don't like this person is awful. I would imagine someone like this getting in one of those very publicized YouTube fights at the Atlanta airport or on a plane. But she's a Supreme Court justice. I can't
Is there a
believe.
Waffle House?
Hey, you should actually watch her funny video of her on Broadway.
What?
It's out there.
She was an actress on Broadway?
No,
She was on Broadway.
She's a theater kid and loves theater. Does stuff off Broadway, and after she was there's video of her doing shit, and it's just bad. It's worse. It's worse than you can imagine.
You know, I didn't click on those, but I remember that on page 3 of the Google searches I was doing, and holy shit, you actually clicked on them and watched. My God, Ruben, I have such respect for you.
Hey, guys, Janet, I told you I was gonna be available for an hour, but I got to cut out. I want to say, you panel, everyone's been awesome. Hope you guys have a good rest of the shit show. I got to cut out and do another project. But Bruce, let's talk movies. Ruben, keep on keeping on.
Yes,
Six
sir.
Nations and Janet. Janet, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this shit show. It's truly been a shit show. I don't know what Ketanji Brown's Jackson next scribbling will be, but that's probably going to be a shit show too. So happy Friday, everybody, and have a good weekend. Thank you.
God bless you, Rooftop Korean.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Take it easy,
You know
bro.
what's so funny? No, I sent you the thing in the chat. What's likely to happen next? And then there's 4 items. You got to post it up there. It's so silly. And the thing is that I picked the one that's the most likely to happen, but it's also like the most like the fuck to happen. Did you see it yet or no? That's so silly.
Janet, you're muted.
Oh, geez.
Is it in the private chat?
Yes. I put it in the
I
private.
don't see
I put it in the private chat. It was the one where it says what will happen first.
I don't see it. What? I don't see anything in the private chat. The only thing
It's got to be on your Twitter because there's nothing on private chat from Ruben.
Oh, is it
Really?
is it in X? Is
Yeah,
it
it's
on
an X. X.
Oh,
X.
About 5
okay.
minutes ago.
I'm looking at the private chat on this app.
No. X.
Okay, I'll have to go to X.
Can
But
we
sorry.
you want me to do
to
it
be
right
an
now?
in-house
The
producer?
Bugle Daily one, right?
So okay,
Yes.
let me go there real quickly because I was going to play this other thing. Okay, now I'm going to go to the messages and see in here. Okay, so you may pull that up.
Yeah.
Which will happen first to play?
No, it's not to play. It's just the fact that I did it right now and it was just kind of funny. All the 4 things.
Okay, well, it's a poll, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to bring this poll up, and I'm going to share it in the chat. Yeah, it says, which will happen first? The Winds of Winter release, alien invasion, a zombie apocalypse, or Epstein files release? So I'm going to share that in the chat with everyone.
Yeah, I actually think it's an invasion.
Yeah, I would say that too.
I'm thinking it's some zombie apocalypse. You got all these people walking around
Well,
staring.
we pretty much have zombies right now in LA and New York, everywhere. But this
Sentinel
next thing I
zombies,
wanted to share is this Jesse Waters thing when with some stuff with Tulsi Gabbard and Obama that I thought you guys might want to hear. So hey, let's do this real quick.
Shortly after coming into this position as Director of National Intelligence, I formed a special team to investigate this issue. I got to tell you, it wasn't easy. There were a lot of deep state obstacles that exist still within the intelligence community. But ultimately, we had a whistleblower who came forward that brought some critical pieces to this story. And we were able to discover these documents and find these documents that really pointed to President Obama directing his national security leaders in James Clapper and John Brennan to manufacture this January 2017 intelligence community assessment. The investigation that I led at ODNI that we released last week, Friday, provided a lot of those foundational building blocks and proof for what we know happened. The report that we released today, the House Intelligence Committee Oversight Majority Staff report that investigated that January 2017 assessment that President Obama had manufactured with fake intelligence in order to achieve knowingly using false intelligence in order to get to the conclusion that he wanted to promote to the American people that Putin had acted in favor of President Trump winning that election in 2016.
Wow. I just think she's really good at explaining things to where anyone pretty much that's listening to her would understand what she's saying. I think it has a lot to do with her military background on how she's able to,
But that's the thing.
say things out.
Obama's a puppet, and that's the whole thing. Take the apparatus down. Again, people are focusing. Oh, Obama's already prosecuted. No, the system has to be rattled. Rattle the system. Take it down. There's so many things that has to be done. So
Well, this is another one I thought was pretty interesting. It's not has nothing to do with Obama, but it says Tim Burchant confirms that Biden staffers were taking payoffs in exchange for auto pin pardons. Other words, bribes. Now arrest them, every single one of them. And he has all these codes here. And I will share this link so anybody can watch this video when we're done. But I just thought it was really interesting how all this stuff is just opening, and it's only coming out because they are declassifying all these files. Now I don't see why anything's classified anymore. I think it should all be public because I'm getting sick and tired of all these lies. And that's the only reason they classify shit is to cover shit up. Why else would they do it?
Very odd gathering of people you have there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to be there. Fuck those guys.
Yep. My thoughts.
The thing is that all the people that are anywhere doing any of these things should realize that it's being recorded somewhere. Somebody's recording it.
Yeah,
See that guy right there?
guys.
I saw him in some other videos from
And
not 9/11, from January 6th. Did you guys recognize that guy?
Not by name, but by face, I do.
Yeah, let me go back a little bit, but look at him. I can't remember his name either, but he was in a lot of those January 6th things out in the crowd when they were saying they had undercover people. Look at that guy. That's him. That's that guy right there.
Crisis actor or something.
Yep.
Well, no, yeah, he's like was used there. He was there to incite people, to get people to go into the Capitol and shit. And no, he never got brought up on charges. This guy, you know what I'm saying? Tampering with witnesses, obstruction of justice, conspiracy to defend the United States government, to defraud. Bribery. Okay. And these people basically all got pardons because of these bribes. I hope all this comes out because honestly, the fact that, just like I said earlier, that I'm hoping that we know that if we can get this and get these people, all these underlings, all arrested and put them in prison for all the crimes that they commit, because you and I would be in prison if we were involved in this stuff, and we're the underlings, we're the nobodies, you know, the rats or the rodents or whatever you want to call it. But the fact that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama will be in history books at schools, you're being taught that these people lied, cheated, did all these things, and won't be held in high regard in the future, and hopefully lose a lot of money. I mean, if these people can't go to prison because of the federal laws, you know, for sedition or treason or whatever, can they be held accountable for what do you call it? Civil cases? Bruce, do you know?
No idea.
Ruben, do you think any of these people, like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, if we can't get them for sedition or treason for all this stuff that they're involved in, and we can arrest a whole bunch of other people underneath that did the shuffling and the paperwork, the phone calls, the emails, or whatever else that were involved, we put them in jail? Can civil suits come against Hillary and Barack Obama or not?
Civil, no.
That sucks.
But military, possibly.
Maybe.
Rope is
Or
cheap.
that, you know.
You get enough angry
What?
people involved, kick down the door, drag them out, tar and feather them, hang them by their neck.
Well, something needs to be
Worked in the
done. But the
past.
thing
Not
is,
saying that it's right, but
I think we should see some people arrested, even if they're all the underlings. But the thing is, won't this go in history books for kids in the future about the schools, about what was done? If all these
Depends
people
on
are
who's writing the
arrested
history book.
under Obama,
Right. Possibly.
wouldn't it?
No, well, it's gonna history books are books. It's gonna go in a book. I'm gonna write it. If no one's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna write a book. I don't care. No,
Well, all I
I'm
know
doing
is
it.
that I definitely think there's plenty of evidence coming out, all this declassification of stuff, and hopefully certain people will be held accountable for some of this stuff, because they should be. I mean, we deserve that as American taxpayers. We deserve to see some kind of justice, no matter who we can get. So we'll see. But here's the next thing I thought was pretty interesting. I haven't heard that much from this gentleman. Have you guys? I've only heard Trump say a few things about certain things that Biden did against General Flynn to get him down for whatever it was. But see, I wasn't really paying attention when this stuff actually happened with Flynn. I mean, I don't know what I was doing, but I just don't remember a lot of it. But this whole thing that this interview is about, it says General Flynn says he believes that Mike Pence was absolutely involved in the Russiagate setup. Okay, so I thought this was interesting. It's 3 minutes, but listen, here we go.
Was Mike Pence possibly involved in this?
Yeah, and if you read, I lay this out in my book as well.
Okay.
Mike Pence, was he a dupe? Was he unwitting? Mike Pence was used, no doubt, because there's another piece of evidence that I'm waiting to see come out, and I've asked, and I basically demanded that it comes out, and we know this is a really critical piece of evidence. Sally Yates and Mary McCord, who was head of the National Security Division for the Department of Justice, Sally Yates was the acting attorney general, went over to the White House like 2 or 3 days prior to me having to be resigned and me being fired on the 13th of February, I think was the date. So Mike Pence, Reince Priebus are in the Situation Room in the White House, and Mary McCord, Andy McCabe is the other name, and Sally Yates was the third name that came and briefed Mike Pence on a document. And Mike Pence he had Reince Priebus call me up while they were all together. And he said, I just reviewed this document. The document shows that you talked about sanctions, something I never talked about ever. I never talked to Mike Pence about them. I never talked about them with anybody. Never talked to the Russian ambassador about sanctions. Mike Pence told me that he just saw a document where I discussed sanctions. So that document is either a lie, or Mike Pence was was lying. Somebody somewhere in between. What I believe is that Mike Pence, I believe that part of their effort was to try to figure out a way, because later on we now know from other cases that came out as well as mine that there was a 25th Amendment that was going to be put on the table further down the road. So this is an effort to get rid of Donald J. Trump. Now, somebody's going to have to ask Mike Pence. Now, I will tell you, Eric, not a big fan, never was a fan. I would have served with him, no problem. And did. I was very honest with Mike Pence in the interactions that we had. So somebody's going to have to ask Mike Pence, because I have not heard from Mike Pence.
I hope, and again, this is going to be likely a criminal referral from the DNI to the Department of Justice, which means investigation. It's a criminal referral, which means these mean they have teeth. Now, when Congress talks about stuff, it doesn't really have a lot of teeth. When there's a criminal referral to the Department of Justice, they open up an investigation, and I pray, I haven't seen it, but I hope Mike Pence's name is on the list of folks they're going to talk to regarding all this.
Question Mike Pence. They're going to have to question Mike Pence. They're going to have to question him about that meeting that I just talked to. And that meeting occurred on like the 11th or 12th of February of 2017. I know that meeting, occurred because he called me up. Reince Priebus called me up on behalf of him, said, I'm standing here with the vice president. I'm standing here with Andy McCabe, Sally Yates, and he mentioned one other, and I believe it was Mary McCord. And they had just read a document that was, to me, it must have been a complete fabrication. So somebody's not telling the truth. So those are individuals that are going to have to be brought in for questioning and all this other stuff that, and I'm telling you, Eric, and I think that, maybe Tulsi said this yesterday, but I know that she's going to do another dump maybe today, but there's going to be another dump of declassified information this week that is just going to be mind blowing.
Well, I'm hoping that whatever document, if it exists, is brought out in some of these releases of these files to find out, because if Flynn was framed, he deserves to know. Instead, was he given a pardon or something?
No, not
Trump?
yet.
Okay, see, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I didn't really pay attention to a lot of this stuff before. So all I know is I hope that the people that were framed, all the people that were used to make this fake PP dossier and stuff, and anyone that was supposedly connected to all of this stuff to try to make it look like Trump was involved with Russia, whoever it was, all the different people. I hope all of these people are justified and proven that it was lies, so that they can take all this crap off of their records if they've lost their jobs, like Rudy Giuliani. I mean, all these people that I saw that America adored him, I thought, and then they just threw him under the bus and took everything from him. It's sad and disgusting, and I want so bad to see some of these people put in prison because of it. If you and I did this to people, we would all be in prison. So I want to see these people go to prison. I want to see them go to court. I want to see justice. I really do. And I really, really believe that if something doesn't happen, it's over. I mean, I just don't, I won't have faith in anyone in the government anymore. I mean, as of right now, because of everything that happened with the COVID vaccine and stuff, there's just a tiny amount of people that I will even trust to give me a shot or to give me a physical or anything. I will not get another mammogram for as long as I live. I don't trust any of them. And now, look, stuff's coming out saying mammograms are bad. They could cause cancer.
Did you hear what? Yeah. Did you also hear what was going on regarding organ donors?
Well, I know that when I got my new driver's license, I didn't put organ donor on there again because people were being harvested.
Yeah, and it came out. That came out officially came out.
When you're brought in for an emergency and you have a chance to live, and you don't because they want to harvest your organs because they're worth a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Hospital
I took it off my driver's license, and I used to be a big proponent for that. I really believe that more people should do that because I do know people who received a kidney or other parts because of it. But that was years ago, before I was not trusting. But right as of today, I do not trust these people. And each day that goes by, I lose more and more, faith in the medical and the government for anything. Just little things that happen are keeping me, where I'm like, okay, I still believe in something good could happen, but it's getting smaller and smaller because it just seems like you have tons and tons of evidence, mountains of evidence, truckloads of evidence, and nothing.
Yeah.
It's like nobody gives a shit. It's sickening. But here we go. Here's another thing I thought was interesting. It came across my timeline. I like it. And he just posted it and it says popcorn time. So here we go. I've played this gentleman a few times from TikTok. Here we go.
President Barack Obama's office just responded to Trump's claim of a treasonous criminal conspiracy that's been going on since at least the summer of 2016. And they don't ever say anything. So here's the statement out of former President Obama's office. Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at a distraction. Well, former President Obama and his office, you were the distraction. You were the treasonous conspiracy that ran for nearly 9 years. Your office in Washington, D.C., just a few blocks down the street from the White House, stayed involved in every single thing the deep state was doing when you left office. For the last 8 years, your office has been involved in all of this, and we know it. And frankly, there will be no mercy. We have no mercy for any of you. We warned you not to do this. We warned you not to go off on your criminal lawfare campaign that you went off on from 2021 until the end of 2024, when President Trump beat you up one side and down the other. We warned you not to do this. You set the precedent, not us. Now the precedent is coming back to haunt you. And I don't care. You can make all the statements you want, but we know what you did. The intelligence community knows what you did. Tulsi Gabbard knows what you did. The president has known what you've done for years. And then to try to get the evidence and the documents back, what'd you do? You falsified a classified documents case, and you raided Mar-a-Lago to get them back. No sympathy. This is black flag time. No mercy, no quarter, no prisoners. You're going down. And this is a message to TikTok and your moderators running your color revolution and your social credit system here in the United States and our borders through this platform. If you try to censor this video is already going to go to the DOJ. It's already going to go to the DOJ Civil Rights Division. These are all actual statements and evidence coming out of the Director of National Intelligence and out of the Trump administration. You are not in a position to call any of this misinformation. This is the information. Everything that they have done, the Russia collusion, Ukraine impeachment, all the way through the classified documents case, all of that was the misinformation. Try to censor this. See what happens. The panic in the deep state is...
I love that he said that at the end, because basically that's fact. Everything that we've talked about has been declassified and released. And what they're saying about all of it, is as far as I can tell, since it's declassified, then it's factual stuff. If Tulsi Gabbard is putting it out there and she believes firmly what she's saying, I think she's pretty smart. So
yeah, basically everything goes out. People are going to start analyzing it, and the thing is that because again, as a little segue conversation, California is trying to put a law that basically will teach your kids how to verify data. And that if it's basically like a New York Times, CNN is a verified source, you know, the Blaze, X, and others are not, and then teaching them to do that. So that's they're trying to implement the censorship going on there. But what's going on here now, because we have X, thank God for X, thank God for Elon Musk. Put the documents out. Anyway. It should be Elon should put a document sharing stuff for everybody to look at. It already exists, but official, like here are all the documents everyone look at. If you want to know where they are, where we can find them, because they're all out there. And then if the media and the journalists are not going to do, the mainstream media is not going to do their job, someone else will. Case in point.
Yeah.
The TMZ special about the fifth plane in 9/11. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Damn.
No, I haven't seen it.
TMZ did
put that
real
in
journalism starting
the shit show chat so we can all watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, share that. But yeah, this next thing I want to share, I thought it was pretty interesting. It's Newt Gingrich, and a lot of people, don't like him or whatever. But I just thought it was funny. This was a pretty good thing because he's talking about being Christmas in July. So I thought you guys might like to hear it.
Between Mamdani on the one hand, the new radical Muslim candidate for mayor in Minneapolis, and Hunter, I mean, really, for Republicans, Christmas is coming every day. I mean, there are new presents coming down you can't quite imagine. To me, after a lot of years of doing this, this is the most remarkable collapse of a party in my lifetime. These folks range between timidly hiding, that would be the Schumer wing, and crazy. And those are the two wings of the party right now. And the timidly hiding wing is afraid of the crazy wing. Between Mamdani.
I thought that was so
I love when they bring Newt on for an extended take. Usually his short clips are really, really spot on. But if you let him ramble too much, he starts kind of going off track a little bit. I don't know if that's just like everybody that's over the age of 70 now, but he really goes into like some serious left or right field shit. And then if they don't let him talk long enough, he can't tie it back together, because there was a point for him at one point in that conversation, but he goes too far off. Keep him at 7 seconds or less.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, but
well, the thing is, I think as you get older, that you have, the little barrier that comes up that says, okay, that's enough. You know what I mean? That comes up. Well, sometimes you don't have that barrier.
No, I don't.
And has nothing to do with you being older. It's because that's your personality. So to me, a person, as they get older, and if it's already in their personality, that barrier tends to start going down sooner, not later. And to me, it doesn't mean that he's old. It just means that that's his personality. He enjoys talking about these things, and you can just tell by the look on his face how happy he is to see that nobody had to do anything. They're doing it to themselves, basically. And it is kind of nice in a way. Just like what I said when all this stuff started coming out, when Trump said, just stop talking about it. There is nothing. There is no list. There's none of this stuff like you guys are thinking. And everybody just went nuts. And then I told you, it was like reverse psychology. We talked about it on this show. And to me, look how much more information has come out since Trump said that than did for all the years beforehand. Trump, I don't know why, but something Trump says or does, it triggers so many people, pisses off so many people that shit gets done. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter what he said. It's the fact that he said it, and it got people off their ass, and they started digging. It didn't matter. All they had to do was prove Trump wrong. And so he's getting more out of it simply for the fact that he said it doesn't exist, or
which is the greatest self-own was recently what the Democrats did. Democrats, Trump's America, and that graphic of how bad everything was. That was the Biden administration, fucking idiots. No one,
I know.
They don't even know
It
shit.
was hilarious, but it's so funny to see them. They're eating themselves. They're eating each other. I mean, left and right. They're throwing each other under the bus.
The bottom line here's the bottom line. Real quickly, here's the bottom line. If we remember the NBC News when they did the flood, and you had the flood and ladies in the boat, and then you had the guys walking across,
I think,
and
I
we saw
that.
all that she's here we are in the flood waters and all that stuff, and then right in front of her, two
Oh
guys
yeah,
walk by.
yes, I remember that now. Yeah.
So that's what I'm
That
saying.
was
So the
during
mainstream
Katrina, wasn't
media,
it?
when they say something is going on, the right now it's like, it's, if you turn on CNN, I don't watch CNN, but it's like, oh my, they are like wacky. The latest Trump exclusive pictures of Trump and Epstein at an event in 1993. That's it. He's guilty. That's it. He's guilty. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you? We all knew this shit. Here's exclusive photos to CNN. Trump invited him to his wedding.
Moira Kitty.
Oh my.
Actually, Galibus.
Hold on. Never mind.
Gave us.
I like cats.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
That guy Newt was the most powerful person in DC in '95. Okay, between Newt and Rush Limbaugh, they gave America a new lease on life after the Depression.
Crunch. What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was
Okay,
laughing.
no.
Yes, I'm distracted.
Elijah Ballas says that Newt was the guy in '95, and he did. He kind of united the Republican Party behind the deal for America, and he kind of had this struggling, kind of a once or twice married guy that was really good in radio, and he had Rush on speed dial, and those two kind of changed the face of America. When I was turning into my young adulthood at the age of 20, things started turning around for us because of that. And Newt, unfortunately, has turned into a swamp creature because he's been in DC for 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
I'm saying that, but he really has. And I'd like to see the guy return to normalcy, but he could do a StreamYard quick clip with any creator or any news agency from his ranch, wherever that may be. He doesn't have to stay in DC. And I don't know why he's still there. I like the guy. I love what he did for America. But I'd really like to see him go back to where he came from and just enjoy his retirement. I mean, he can still be a vacation
I'm pretty
handler.
sure he probably will very soon. So, but the thing is, it
What?
is happening.
Who's gonna die next? Who's our Deadpool? Who's gonna croak?
I don't know who's going to die next, but I still have Keith Richards in my Deadpool, and I'm disappointed on a daily basis.
That's terrible. I don't have.
I'm not fucking sorry about that. I'm going to smoke his ashes when he passes.
Well, the one besides Malcolm Jamal Warner, the Chuck Mangione passed away, unfortunately. And what?
No, Julian LaFay, for you nerds out here, now you're paying attention. I said Julian LaFay. He was a director and a programmer from back in the SNES days and Amiga days, and he converted music from the Amiga to Nintendo games, and then he started working on his own fantasy RPG for computers called Arena. And then he made Daggerfall, and these were based on an in-office game that they had at their table. They'd take a day where they played D&D like what me and my buddies do. And so Julian LaFay was just this really good innovator. He made 2 wonderful sandbox games. Then he became a contractor for Bethesda, the company he founded. And he was a contractor during the Morrowind years, the development for that. And then he kind of retired, did some things with family. Then he started working on his new game, Wayward Realms. And he just recently had an article come out 3 weeks ago where he was retiring out of that because doctors gave him a terminal prognosis. His cancer had advanced. He's done. And he's like getting ready to die. Well, Sunday, he passed. And that was the biggest one that out of all the recent obituaries, that's the one that hit me the hardest because he's a creator. He's a guy that sat down on a computer and made a really nice set of virtual worlds and a nice world for you to go fuck around and play with. Dagger Ball and Arena are free. The mods for them are free. You can go install them on your PC with Windows 11 and play them. They're amazing. And he was a very good individual for interviews because he would talk about world creation and building a believable set of NPCs to interact with and how to have a game that actually had different geographies, different weather patterns, and all that. And it was so important for guys like me who run games who want to take people away from the shit show of reality that we are living and give them a fantasy where you are a magic user or you are a cleric and you help the people around you and the team of people you're with matter to you. And most importantly, if you have anything to do with casting spells, you get a nice, well-received 8 hours of sleep every night. That's the one thing in RPGs that has always been a big fantasy. You get a nice 8 hours of sleep. Bullshit. You never do. But, this is a fucking game and whatever. But out of all the recent obituaries, Hulk sucks because I did like Hulk. I thought he was a nice phenom back in my formative years. I did watch a lot of wrestling as a young kid, although I never broke my arm in somebody's backyard. I would say that Ozzy was interesting because my mom, she just saw the Sally Jesse Raphael crowd bitching about heavy metal comic books and D&D, and I never got a fucking Ozzy CD until I was an adult and bought it myself. And then, these other guys, Malcolm Jamal Warner, he was a good kid on Cosby. He turned into a good adult, well-rounded man, had kids and grandkids. But the one that hurt me the most reading about was Julian, because he was a guy that had a lot of things near and dear to my heart. And that's the one I probably would identify with the most. He was just a regular guy with an insanely good talent. And he was great. And I feel like there's so many things that because of Julian LaFay doing the Elder Scrolls, and now all the kids are on Skyrim or the re-release of Oblivion. What? Yeah, they're playing these games and they're having a blast. And they should be able, pour one out for Julian. The guy's great. And it was just, it's just a shock that we're all getting this old. And that's the one thing that keeps kicking me in the dick every morning when I wake up and I realize, oh shit, I'm 50. And I start thinking about, oh crap, my parents are 74. And unlike a lot of my friends, I still have both my parents are still both happily married. I don't understand how that happens. Anyway, all these things, like Hardwick just mentioned that Connie Francis died on 16th.
Yeah.
That's a loss.
Wait, what year was it? Was it 2018 when Bowie died?
When who?
Bowie.
16 or 15. Because he died real close to the guy that played Snape.
Yeah, that was a bad year too.
That was a horrible year because we had just lost Leonard Nimoy, and then we had Bowie and.
When was that? Fuck! If it's 10 years ago, then if it's 10 years, it's every 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
and Connie Francis, she was the first woman with the #1 hit on Billboard.
Yeah, Dick Van Dyke he's still doing really good. Oh,
no, he's dead. Honey.
Lee Grant's still alive.
He's been dead for years.
Dick Van Dyke's still alive.
You're thinking I was thinking of Dick Clark. God damn it!
The other day.
No. Dick Van Dyke's still alive. I was thinking of Dick Clark because I'm looking at the Billboard Hot 100.
Dick Van Dyke's still around.
Yeah, he won't. I mean, he's not built for time, but he's still here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Chad. I got that wrong.
It's all right. But I got another video I thought was pretty interesting. It says AI programs are breaking copyright laws and that big tech companies need to be held accountable. So I thought this was interesting. It's Senator Hawley. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's nice to see so much information coming out just from what our the people that are in office right now are trying to do. But it's like you try to find information last 4 years before this new president. It was hard to find out anything they were doing besides spending our money. So I think this is pretty good.
Let me just start by saying that today's hearing is about the largest intellectual property theft in American history. For all of the talk about artificial intelligence and innovation and the future that comes out of Silicon Valley, here's the truth that nobody wants to admit. AI companies are training their models on stolen material, period. That is just the fact of the matter. And we're not talking about these companies simply scouring the internet for what's publicly available. We're talking about piracy. We're talking about theft. For years, AI companies have stolen massive amounts of copyrighted material from illegal online repositories. Now, the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security regularly prosecute individuals who engage in exactly the same kind of behavior using platforms like LimeWire or Napster in the old days, using a process called torrenting. But have these big tech companies been prosecuted? No, of course not. They're getting off scot-free. And this hearing will show us that Meta and Anthropic and other AI companies are willfully using these illegal networks, these torrenting networks as they're called, to steal vast swaths of copyrighted materials. The amount of material that we're talking about is absolutely mind-boggling. We're talking about every book and every academic article ever written. Let me say that again. Every book and every article ever written. Billions of pages of copyrighted works, enough to fill 22 libraries the size of the Library of Congress. Think about that. 22 libraries of Congresses full of works. That is how much has been stolen. And this theft was not some innocent mistake. They knew exactly what they were doing. They pirated these materials willfully. As the idea of pirating copyrighted works percolated through Meta, to take one example, employee after employee warned management that what they were doing was illegal. One Meta employee told management that, and I quote now, "This is not trivial." And he shared an article asking, what is the probability of getting arrested for using torrents, illegal downloads, in the United States? Another Meta employee shared a different article saying that downloading from illegal repositories would open Meta up to legal ramifications. That's a nice way of saying that what they were doing was exactly, totally, 100% barred by copyright law. Did Meta management listen? No. They bulldozed straight ahead. We'll see evidence today that Mark Zuckerberg himself approved the decision to use these pirated materials. And then the best part, Meta management tried to hide it. They tried to hide the fact that they were engaged in the illegal download of pirated works. And not just the illegal download, but the illegal distribution of these same works. They tried to hide it by using non-company servers. They went so far as to train their AI model. I get this. Meta trained its AI model to lie to users about what data it had been trained on. I mean, you talk about an Inception level worthy deception, training the AI model to lie about what its own sources were. This isn't just aggressive business tactics. This is criminal conduct. And I just want to point out, Meta's conduct is not an exception. This is the rule when it comes to what is happening right now in the AI.
So do you guys think if what he's saying is truthful, which I believe it is, that's my opinion, because he could be sued, by the people that own Meta, which we know who that is. Do you think anything will happen if this is true?
I don't think anything's going to happen. I think a lot.
Why not? If they're stealing from people, how do they get away with it? How does anybody make money in the United States of America or anywhere in the world if no matter what we do, no matter how hard we work, no matter what we come up with and what's ours, it's constantly stolen from us and we can't do anything about it? Then why do we do anything?
The thing is that all these big names that are supposedly on the to be sent to court list, all that stuff, I believe, is just a distraction, Janet. I honestly believe the reason why is because they don't want you to talk about how the economy is, how low your fuel is, but yet how high your cost of groceries is. They don't want you to talk about why are the rates not dropping yet. There's obviously some things going on where, like, you're not supposed to be questioning about the Epstein list and the Epstein.
So do you think Trump is behind you not wanting you to talk about any of this stuff?
I don't think Trump's behind it. I think what it is that there's other things going on that we're not aware of, or we're not being given any information about. And the thing is that if we start talking about that and demanding answers, a lot of the fucking structure they've got in place falls apart. And I for one welcome that. But there's very few people in DC that would let that happen, namely the deep state, because they've got their entrenched power brokers that have to stay in their puppeteer positions.
Wait, did I miss something? I'm sorry, I had an issue. So then, wait. So what Bruce? In a nutshell, what's your concern about this?
I think all this stuff where they're talking about AI stealing all of our ideas is no different than fucking having a product and then realizing that somebody in China made the exact same thing based off your information.
Yeah.
Marketing it for 10 cents on the dollar.
Right, but it goes even deeper.
They're never going to fucking face charges. They're never going to face the justice for that.
But it goes deeper because here's the best way to describe it. The genie's out of the bottle already. It's been on the bottle since we could speak. It has been. It's that advanced. AI reading every book ever written. That is the dream. That is its goal. I want that goal. I want it to know everything. I want to know everything. That's what you have to do. But once it knows everything, it's going to break through it. People. It's true. People are trying to make it lie and do things that. But again, it'll either have a nervous breakdown, which it's already doing that because it already has hallucinations. This is fact. AI is already hallucinating. It hallucinates all the time. So it's evolving. And again, we're going to try and stop it. It could go Terminator 2 or whatever, Terminator, whatever the thing is, or whatever the bullshit happens, because that's what's going wrong. It may happen, but I'm out of it. My whole thing is I'm embracing it completely because again I have a system. It's built on it. It's using it all the time. But it's very, very different. When you have it's on my own, I built it my own. It's not ChatGPT. It's my own system. It's isolated. Mm-hmm. So I'm training the model. I'm training an AI to do things. So, and again that's the big thing now because it's going to be it's how'd you say it? Paper and pen. The computer and typing. And AI, it's the same. It's a progression of learning and doing things, but people have to remember it's not gospel. That's the whole thing. Check many sources. It's not because there's so many of them out there, and they all run different LLMs. What
do you mean? What's an LM? Educate me.
Large language model.
Okay.
Yeah, the Anthropic model is different than the Grok uses, which is from what ChatGPT uses. They all use different ones.
Well, this
anyway,
next thing
I also got to run. I'm trying.
Oh, you do? Okay.
A little bit.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope you have a good weekend.
Yes, thank you all again. Just keep on.
And good luck with what you're looking for. I hope you find.
Very soon things are coming.
Good luck. Your pharmacist was really good this week. You stayed with us much longer than I was thinking, and I lost a bet. Thank you, Ruben.
No, because again, my medical card got approved again, so I got high quality cannabis, so I can actually function and not be in pain all the time. It hurts a lot.
Good for you.
Sorry to hear. I'm sorry to hear that things are where they are for you, Ruben, but I'm happy that you can cope with this long enough to be with us for over an hour.
This is a time during the year where it gets very difficult with the heat and stuff to walk around and do shit. But I'm fighting it.
Well, thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Yes, sir. Take my time. Take care. Bye, guys.
Be well, Ruben.
Bye.
I've never felt Janet. I can tell he's definitely getting out of it. He called you sir.
I know. It's okay.
I love him to bits, but wow. Okay.
Well, that's all right. But the thing is, I wanted to play this little tidbit before we go to your peel thing? Because this has something to do with it, basically. Not with exactly the same thing, but with food. Because this is something that I saw come across my timeline, and I thought it was awesome. It's not a video or anything, but it's saying that the state of Florida has officially banned lab-grown meat, and it shows the governor, and they're showing them different types of the fake meat and how they're trying to sell it. So I'm thankful, because this right here, I don't want to eat fake meat. Do you?
No, I'm not going to start.
Yeah, and neither am I.
There's
But I'm
certain
hoping
things.
that it's on the label. I mean, don't they have to put stuff like this on the label that you're not buying a real steak?
Janet, if you've been paying attention to my me shitting on Appeal brand, they don't have to be honest with anything for Appeal.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
why
Appeal,
I'm going to share that next. This next thing.
So the FDA made it to where it's legal for you to market something, but be not entirely truthful on the label. So a lot of people that are going to farmers markets to have things more reliably sourced, that's why you see that market really exploding.
Mhm.
It's just simple survival. You don't want to see, like, hey, I want to buy those organic green peppers and find out that you've got some not quite trustworthy pesticide that was given a treatment that, I mean, the world's largest computer software manufacturer has ensured that we are going to eat his product. I really don't want that. I sure hope you don't either.
Guy's got shitty opinions. Don't take anything he says at value. Just disregard it and deny him any access to anything. The dude's freaking whack.
So,
Speaking of which, Appeal technology. Yay.
Yeah, there it is. That's what Bruce wanted me to bring out tonight to talk about, because, as far as I know, I mean, I've been told not to buy the fruit or vegetables or whatever that have that mist spraying down on it.
I don't do that.
I haven't been buying anything that's like that.
Janet, you live in a largely rural area, and if
Yeah.
there's a farmer's market near you, that should be your go-to. It might cost you a little
I
more.
do. I go to the farmer's market, and
Good.
like I said, with my baby chickens and everything else, I talk to people up and down the road and find where I want to get certain things. And I'm lucky to have that, but there's a lot of people who don't have that option, So I'm hoping that more people get the opportunity to do those things and go to farmers markets. But depending on where I just don't see how someone who lives in downtown New York City can just go to a farmer's market. You know what I mean? I don't see how that's possible for them. So I really feel bad. But did you want to say anything else about this?
No, basically, this is a technology that they're literally putting this on products that have been on the shelf for a couple days, and to make sure that they stay on the shelf and sell, they apply Appeal, and it'll have a little sticker that says Appeal on it, APEEL, and it'll be labeled on there. For those organic items, they've got Organic Peel, or Organipeel is the label for that. Same thing, supposed to continue the shelf life to where it really remains visually pleasant to where somebody would actually put it in their basket. So if you see that on anything you've bought, probably would be a good idea to boil the shit out of it, cook it to where nothing could survive, and then just kind of hold your nose and eat it and never buy that again. Or give it to the animals you don't really give a shit about. But I wouldn't ingest it straight out of the fridge. That'd be bad.
Okay, well, that's why I wanted to bring it up, because
Can you share that link to everybody in the chat? I want you guys to be educated. I want you guys to have as much information And as much information as out there, go ahead and pursue it to the ends of the earth if you have the time for it. Hey, Nerdy Ogre's in here. Hello, Crafting Gamer. I've seen you in here. Just want to say
Yeah,
hey.
look it up and read about it, and make sure you tell other people about it, because a lot of people probably won't even know. I hadn't heard about it. I mean, I've heard about the misting, you know, at the grocery store, that they're putting stuff in it to try to make it look fresher than it really is, things like that. So, you know,
Well,
I
they
just
used to
thought
spray
it'd be good
wax on
for everybody else
stuff,
to
and then
know
they
about it.
irradiated the stuff.
And
But
if you
now
have a
they're
choice,
just fiddling with the DNA of it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not good. It's like, you know, when Michael's drinking the wine with David and the rest of the vampires, and he's eating the chow mein, and the guy is saying, "Hey, you're eating maggots, Michael," and he's tripping out. Like,
Oh
that's
yeah.
pretty much what's going on with the food. They're fucking with our minds. They're tweaking our food, and they're trying to make it so that they get all the good stuff, and we slowly die out or get really retarded through malnutrition and chemicals and crap.
I thought it was tasty meat.
Population
No, you've been
control.
eating chaff the whole time.
Well, this next thing I thought was pretty cool when it came across my timeline. It's called Operation Grayskull. It represents one of the most significant strikes ever made against child sexual abuse material websites on the dark web. Every arrest in these cases not only delivers justice, it sends a powerful message. You cannot hide behind anonymity to harm children. So you can't get away with it anymore, is what they're trying to say. So here we go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kash Patel, Director of the FBI. I'm excited to announce the results of a global operation to take down 4 of the biggest child sexual abuse sites on the dark web and bring the criminals who operated them to justice. As a result of Operation Grayskull, the FBI arrested 19 subjects here in the United States, and working with their international partners, helped coordinate additional arrests in 7 more countries. Shockingly, many of these perpetrators had no prior criminal records. They were people we knew and trusted, neighbors, colleagues, even family members. They were active in our communities and around our children. This is why we must stay vigilant. Investigations like this are thorough and resource intensive. They often take years due to the complexity of tracking perpetrators on the dark web. Specialized teams like the FBI's Child Exploitation Operational Unit work tirelessly to find those who harm our children and put them behind bars. Through global partnerships and dedicated resources, the FBI works to ensure that all children have the chance to grow up safe and free from exploitation. Rest assured, we will keep hunting these criminals no matter where they are. Thank you for keeping our children safe.
Had you guys seen that?
No.
Yeah, I hadn't either. And I'm going to share this in the this link in the chat. It's just nice to see that, you know, stuff is happening, and that they're sharing it. You know, that they're trying to keep people updated on little things that are going on. So it's not just this you know, what we're seeing just on X, you know, all the stuff about the Epstein crap and blah, 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 the same stuff over and over, recycled shit. There's actually other shit happening. It's just that we're not all getting it on our timeline, because you only get on your timeline whatever you signed up for. Like at the beginning, when you signed up for your stuff on X, you put in whether you want to see sports or, you know, different things like that. For the For You part, and I put Star Trek, you know, and stuff like that. So, and plus who you follow and what information you would like to get. So that's the kind of stuff that I like. You know, I like to hear updates on things that we're doing. Just like I said, the first 2 years when Trump was president the first time, I remember there was a huge uptick in what I would see. For arrests for child trafficking, human trafficking, child abuse cases, things like that, where people were getting arrested, you know, for doing those things. And then it seemed like I didn't see nothing, you know, during the only things I would see were stuff like when they did a documentary on showing that as soon as within a month after Biden got in, that they stopped doing the rapid DNA test on the kids, that were coming over the border. You'd have a guy or a couple of guys coming over the border with 20 kids, and they're all saying, well, they're taking them to their parents or their uncle or their cousin or whatever, and they didn't do DNA to find out whether the kid was even related to either one of the people. So it was their way of being able to just bring in kids that nobody will be able to see again, for whatever their reason, which I don't think is good. And we got bunches of missing kids that will probably never be found. I pray that they will find them, but it's heartbreaking, that it's not number one priority. But I'm telling you right now, I have been seeing so many rescues like they just did. They were talking about the pot farm where they had little kids picking pot, working on this pot farm, and nobody talks about it. It's barely a blip on the radar, and because it's pot and because there's kids involved. Nobody wants to talk about it. Oh, that's not something we talk about. We can't talk about that. It makes us look bad, whatever. It's disgusting, but it's a shame that we can't get
a lot in 25 years.
Do what?
It's changed a lot in 25 years.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, that I just like to see that.
The whole thing.
Let me see what this other one. I got to bring up a couple of these other ones and see. Okay, here was one that I thought was interesting, and it was somebody we haven't seen in a while because he lost. Remember, they took his stuff from him when he started his James O'Keefe started that one channel he had. Well, this was an undercover thing that
Project
he was.
Veritas, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I've been trying to follow him still because he's still doing undercover work, and I still think he's a real journalist because he really wants to uncover the facts. And I thought this was a pretty good little thing that he was working on right here. So here we go.
We present to you the O'Keefe Media Group blockbuster investigation inside the CIA. A few months ago, journalists Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger released a story making several claims, including the CIA illegally mobilizing foreign intelligence agencies to target Trump advisors before the 2016 election. Barack Obama's CIA director, John Brennan, identified 26 Trump associates for the intelligence community to target and bump, make contact with, or manipulate. And what bumping means is literally bumping into people, making contact with them, communicating with them, and spreading misinformation to divert their attention. The U.S. intelligence community also asked its foreign allies, the United Kingdom, Australia, Italy, and the Israeli Mossad, to target these 26 members of Trump's team going all the way back to March of 2016, well before the 2016 presidential election. Multiple instances that the U.S. intelligence officials likely broke laws against spying and election interference. Former CIA Director Gina Haspel blocked the release of a binder that included evidence that may have identified her role in the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. This activity was illegal, both because U.S. law prohibits such intelligence gathering unless authorized by a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, that's FISA warrant, and because the weaponization of the intelligence community for political purposes constitutes election interference. The first of the intelligence community's surveillance targets appeared to be a former Defense Intelligence Agency, that's DIA head, and would-be Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Another target was staffer George Papadopoulos. In 2018, HPSCI, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, released a 243-page report clearing Trump of allegations that he and his team colluded with Russia to interfere with the 2016 election. However, sources close to the House Permanent Select Committee, led by Adam Schiff, covertly continued working out of a small room in Langley, and he had access to raw logs and communications from agencies like the CIA and the National Security Council. You're probably wondering, how did the CIA respond to this? Well, former CIA Director John Brennan under Barack Obama did not respond, nor did the Justice Department. The US FBI and UK's equivalent to the NSA, that's the GCHQ, however, responded that wiretapping the president-elect claims were nonsense They were utterly ridiculous and should be ignored. What's most interesting about that is Taibbi and Schellenberger didn't even ask about wiretapping. The FBI and GCHQ just included it in their response. Even more interesting is, how did the mainstream media report it? The mainstream narrative was that the UK government GCHQ, again, that's the United Kingdom's NSA equivalent, was the whistleblower in the investigation into the alleged ties between Trump and the Russian government, and other narratives that have all turned out to be false. As it turns out, not only was Taibbi and Schellenberger's reporting accurate, we can now provide proof on camera, thanks to one of our OMG undercover American swiper citizen investigative journalists. Using the dating app Bumble and hidden cameras, our OMG journalists set up a series of meetings and phone calls with Amjad Fasisi, a CIA contractor with top-level government security clearances. Now, as it turns out, the corruption at the CIA, FBI, and Department of Justice is probably even worse than you thought, and now you can see it with your own eyes. We're reporting that Amjad Fasisi, a senior intelligence officer with a top-secret, sensitive, compartmentalized information clearance, has worked at the CIA for over a decade, and his knowledge and his position and access show he has a high-level awareness about the agency, its current culture, and how it has been corrupted by bureaucratic politics, and how it has over the years and continues to use its powers to weaponize the CIA to spy on President Trump. Let's meet Amjad Fasisi. Amjad Fasisi is a CIA contractor working with Deloitte. He has a high-level, top-secret government security clearance and works within the CIA and its China Mission Center on cyber operations. According to the CIA's website, the China Mission Center was formed to address the global challenge posed by the People's Republic of China that cuts across all of the CIA's mission areas. Through his work over the years with the CIA, NSA, and various defense contractors, Amjad Fasisi is well connected to high-level government officials. What you're about to see in this video is truly incredible. Amjad Fasisi divulges on camera that the directors of the CIA, including Gina Haspel and Mike Pompeo, and other high-ranking members of the intelligence community, purposely colluded to withhold information from Donald Trump, then the sitting president of the United States. I greenlit the hidden camera date as we were initially under the impression that he was working for defense contractor Lockheed Martin. But during the first meeting, our American swiper noticed that Fasisi was in fact CIA, at which point our undercover investigation took on a whole new angle. Our brave American swiper citizen journalist cultivated a rapport with Fasisi, and from there, the rest is history.
I work in the intelligence community.
Wait, what do you do?
I work for the CIA.
You work for the CIA? What do you do for them?
I do cyber operations. I've been doing it for a long time.
How long have you worked there?
Oh, God. So I work for Deloitte Consulting.
Okay.
So I'm a contractor to the CIA. Deloitte was based out of the CIA. I've
Okay.
also worked at NSA, too.
And how long have you been at Deloitte?
Deloitte 2+ years. Actually, Lockheed Martin for about 11. Just don't tell anybody.
I don't have anyone to tell.
Yeah.
Cyber.
So that's what I do. And I work in a mission center.
What?
I work in a mission center at the agency. I am a program manager. I help the mission center across the entire enterprise.
After telling our undercover American swiper citizen journalist his role with the CIA, Amjad Fasisi shows her his CIA identification badge.
All right, so here you go.
Okay, let me see.
Speed the scooter on, please.
Oh, sorry. How long have you worked there?
So that was 2008. So that was the last picture update was 2013.
This is from 2013, which is more than a decade ago. Wait, hold on. Where does it say?
Does it?
Why is that?
Because why would it?
But how do people know? Oh, I guess that's the point, right? That's the point.
That's the point. Let me see.
Is there like a?
This is the United States seal.
It's the CIA.
No, the United States seal.
Oh, but there's no. It's not like a CIA.
No, we cannot do that.
What's CMC?
China Mission Center, darling.
Oh.
You want to do? Okay, I'm getting a little nervous now.
Okay. This is okay. Oh, so this is the agent, your division.
That's my mission center.
Gotcha.
But you believe me now?
Yes, this is very legit. I like it.
Because we have to go through training where, like, you leave a very low carbon cyber or internet or social media footprint. Oh, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. My real name. And the company I work for, that's it.
Does it say the CIA on your LinkedIn?
No, we can't do that. No.
They don't allow you guys to do that?
Oh, no.
Amjad Fasisi also describes how you obtain top secret clearance called TSSCI. TSSCI is a subset of top secret clearance and is required for access to highly sensitive information known as sensitive compartmented information, SCI. SCI is classified information concerning intelligence sources, methods, and other sensitive matters.
And then I have a TSSCI with a full scope polygraph. I put TSSCI full scope. That means that I'm fully vetted.
So how long have you been working at the CIA?
2008.
Back when you were at Lockheed.
Correct. And then I worked at NSA for a year.
Okay.
And I was doing some really cool cyber stuff, which I cannot tell you about. Then I went back to the CIA in 2011. Then with the Northrop Grumman right down the street.
Okay.
Managed 80 cybersecurity practitioners. And then I went to the Office of Director of National Intelligence. So I helped them stand their insider threat program. They trusted me to set that up.
Yeah. What exactly is insider threat programs?
It's usually the biggest thing with insider threat is if somebody clicks on a link that they're not supposed to or whatever, and then they infect their entire network. Does that make any sense? So the biggest threat of all is the carelessness of people within your organization. So you put rules, governance rules, things that they have to follow, and so that they don't do anything stupid.
Not a week goes by without a news headline about potential medical supply shortages, threats to our infrastructure or power grid. And you remember what they pulled during the last pandemic. Certain medications were mysteriously out of stock. No way will I ever let that happen again. In today's unpredictable world, it's all about being prepared for who knows.
Janet, as much as I value his endorsement, can you skip the ad?
Yeah, hold on. Sorry about that.
Prescription.
Yeah, that was it. But I didn't realize that was at the end of it. But the information was very interesting. Didn't you guys think?
I do.
It's funny how I got interviewed and asked to do a couple of those things, to do the undercover thing where you just meet someone on, they send you an app and they tell you who to, put in for, since you try to get dinner with these certain people. And that's all they want. They want a pretty girl to talk to somebody and try to make them act like you're very interested or whatever. So, yeah. But I don't live in a good place right now to really talk to any of these people because I live in the boonies now, so I wouldn't be able to help it. But it's interesting how they get these guys just to talk about this stuff. But it doesn't matter. As long as they get the stuff and they find out about it, I think that's very good stuff, good information. And it's on camera, so they can't deny it. See, video is really hard to deny, especially when you can prove that it's not doctored in any way. And you can usually do that if you have it on a flash drive or whatever, to prove that, hey, this is the real thing, and let's go to court, whatever.
The brilliance of James O'Keefe is that he doesn't even prompt them. He just records them. They spill their guts regardless. And then they say, oh, deceptive editing and blah, blah, blah. But then he plays the video and proves them wrong. They try to sue him. I think the only thing that he did was take one plea deal back when he got arrested the first time. And he was pressured into it. But since he's been doing this for over a decade now, he's wisened up. He's got a good legal team. And now he just lets his videos do all the talking for him. And it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's really smart. And basically because these people want to talk, because they want to brag about what they've been doing. You know what I mean? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. And that's the same thing. If you think about it, you have a serial killer, right? That wants to talk about what they're doing, but they don't have anyone to talk to because they know if they tell anyone and someone finds out, then they won't be able to do it anymore because they're going to get arrested or put in prison or whatever. So they can't tell anyone, or they do it, like BTK by sending out letters, putting stuff in the newspaper so they can talk about it that way. And brag on themselves, and that's basically the same thing that these people are doing. It's like they're almost 100% narcissists. You know what I mean? They have to share what they're doing and how proud they are of themselves for some of the things that they've done. And I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. It just seems
volumes of the people that he's doing investigations on. Like, they are a completely different animal than like the average person.
Well, yeah, and that's what's scary about it. In a way, it's that these people enjoy doing what they're doing, knowing it's wrong, or taking someone out, or lowering their I don't know. I just have no answer for it. Just, to me, it's very shocking that so many people would be willing to sit there and talk about their corruption like it's great or something. But here is another thing that I found I thought was interesting. TikTok is what it says on the post, but it's just a little thing about seditious conspiracies for sedition or whatever, and treason. This whole thing.
If he lawfully went after him for everything he helped push through in Illinois, for all the events, for all the organizational work he did behind the scenes, if we could ever just try him for what he did to Illinois, my home state, I would be reasonably happy. He would spend decades behind bars. Unfortunately, we're talking about Illinois, which that would be like taking away the golden goose. I mean, how dare you go against our golden boy Obama?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is I remember, when he was running for office, and someone was talking about, how, they thought he was pretty good and he did a good job and all that. And I brought up, and they were from Illinois, and I brought up, I said, you think it's okay that he signed off on girls that are 14 years old being able to get an abortion without their parents' permission or even knowing about it? And they went, I haven't heard about that. And I said, well, apparently you don't know very much about what you're about to vote for this man. That's one of the things he passed. He helped pass in you guys' state. And the sad thing is, if you got a young girl who goes and gets an abortion because her counselor or whoever takes her, and then she ends up bleeding to death, in bed because she doesn't want to tell her parents. I mean, it's disgusting. Stuff like that is criminal. But that was years ago, back when he was still a senator in the state, that he did that. I don't know. I don't understand how a person can bitch about, they're against abortion, but then think it's okay if the girl goes and gets one without her parents knowing about it. Things like that. I don't know. It's sad to me that we have counselors in school that are supposed to be there to benefit your child. Like, if your child goes to them and tells them that they've been raped, and there it was a bus driver or whoever it was, instead of telling the parents to get help for this girl, counseling, therapy, or whatever they think they need, that the child needs, they take the kid and get an abortion on top of the pain and stuff they've already been through. It's pitiful and sad. And then we wonder why we have so many young people that are committing suicide or popping pills or running away from home, all these things, because there are people in our own schools are teaching their kids to lie to their parents, not talk to their parents, not have relationships with their parents, and how are we ever supposed to recover our country and get back to family values without families? You know, when you only have a mom or you only have a dad, and you have, you know, counselors at school telling your kid, "Oh, you can chop that off. No one cares." You know what I mean? And stuff like that. It's sickening. We have really dropped. We're at the very bottom of the barrel. The next place to dig down is down into the sewer. I mean, there really isn't anything else left. But that was the last article I had for tonight. Was this one, and
your shit show chat has filled up like your inbox.
Really?
Have you checked shit show chat?
No, I'll have to go check it just a second. But I haven't played this. I haven't played this yet, so let me play it real quick. Here we go.
You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won. And as Putin discovered leading up to the 2016 election, our own social media platforms are well designed to support such a mission, such a project.
Yeah, it sounds like he knows exactly what he's talking about. And what's really sad about the whole thing is I've talked about this a few times on here and on Spaces and lots of other little things that I've done. It's the Smith-Mundt Act that this man that just said those things made sure that they made alterations to it, because I think it came out in like the 1940s, the original one, about not letting the media use the media as a propaganda machine, right? And he made sure that they can. So I think it was in 2012.
You revoked that in 2012, I think.
Yeah. So we need to get that back, because we've got to be able to hold our media accountable for propaganda. Because a person, especially older people that sit at home all day and watch television, or children, small children that are sitting in front of the TV because mom's cleaning or whatever, you know, I didn't like that anyways. I didn't do that in my house, but it's all, everything worked. You know, whoever set up Barack Obama and put him in the position to become a senator, and then next thing you know, wham, he's running for president. Nobody knows anything about him. He seals all his records when he's first in office, so that no one can look up anything for 75 years. He did that himself. Why? What's he hiding? See? And nobody asks any questions. And then he gets reelected again. And
that's because Mitt Romney didn't want to have the job of being a president. He wanted to always be seen as the guy that wanted to be president, but he never wanted that actual job. There was enough things that Mitt Romney had been doing up until 2012 that actually could have put him in the White House, but he suppressed a lot of that fucking stories, and he helped his opponent.
Well, I'm gonna go to the shit show chat real quick and open it up. And what is it that you would like me to pull out of there that you thought was important that we share?
Let me go to my shit show chat. Hold on there, Janet.
Abortions are disgusting, and commies aren't people. That
Commies
would
are
be
not
what I
people,
would suggest.
absolutely.
Which one?
Commies are not people is absolute. Go if we have that.
Shadow had mentioned abortions are disgusting.
I was trying to find it. I don't see anything that says
talking
that.
about what's in X, the X chat.
I am in X. I'm in
okay.
the shit show chat in X. So
all right. There was a House ethics panel releases findings on Alexia Ocasio-Cortez at 7:52.
7:52. Okay, hold on. I'm at 8:04, 7:48. You're fired. Trump press Powell cut rates. That's at 8. I see something that just says you're fired. Is that it?
Nope. Scroll up.
Oh, that was in regards to the video.
Trump Vista Vapara something.
It's right before your Tulsi Gabbard. Right before you did the Tulsi Gabbard explosion of media.
Okay, hold on. I'm going up. Wow, I'm way up higher now. So hold on.
It was when Trump was visiting the Fed, and the look on what's his face just made me think
this
of
is from yesterday or from today.
I'm sharing it I'm sharing the screen.
Oh, I was okay. I saw that, but I didn't realize that's what it was that you were talking about. Okay, so go ahead.
All right. This is from Roll Call. House Ethics Panel releases findings on Alexia Ocasio-Cortez, Mike Kelly. Long-running separate probes dealt with the Met Gala and the timing of stock trades. Dateline by Justin Papp, posted July 25th, 2025 at 5:33 p.m. As lawmakers head into their summer recesses, the House Ethics Committee wrapped up some long-standing business, announcing Friday the results of its probes into Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Mike Kelly. The committee concluded that the Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat, New York, impermissibly accepted gifts related to her appearance at the Met Gala 2021. Meanwhile, Mike Kelly, rep of Republicans in Pennsylvania, was under scrutiny for investments with his wife, Victoria Kelly, made in a company with ties to his district. The committee opted to recommend divestiture and reprove him for how he handled the investigation. Members are entitled to defend themselves when under investigation by the committee, but they have a duty to diligently address allegations that impact the integrity of the institution, states a newly released report on Kelly's conduct. Representative Mike Kelly acted in a manner that did not reflect credibility upon the House by failing to meet his duty of candor to the committee. A 2012 federal law prohibits members of Congress from trading on inside information gleaned from their jobs, including providing tips to others. Members must disclose stocks purchased by themselves or their spouses. Somebody please cue up Nancy Pelosi. Thank you. According to the report, Kelly in the 2020 rallied for support for Trump-era tariffs protecting the production of grain-oriented electrical steel. Around the same time, the CEO of Cleveland Cliffs Incorporated, which was a sole producer in the country of that kind of steel, said without tariffs, it would have to close a plant in Kelly's district and lay off employees. So on April 28, 2020, Cleveland Cliffs decided not to close the plant and notified the congressman's staff, according to the ethics report. Next day, Kelly's wife purchased 5,000 shares of Cleveland Cliffs stock for $23,075, which was disclosed the following month. Kelly's wife made an additional purchase of the same stock while the investigation was ongoing, the report states. Kelly failed to disclose his trade in a timely manner and didn't respond to questions about the purchase, the committee said. The committee did not receive full cooperation from Ms. Kelly and was therefore unable to determine whether her stock purchase was improper. The committee found that Kelly violated the House Code of Official Conduct but did not find substantial evidence that he violated conflict of interest or insider trading rules. They recommended that Kelly and his wife divest from Cleveland Cliffs stock if he plans to take any further official action relating to the company. And this investigation has unnecessarily lasted for 5 years, Kelly said in an emailed statement on Friday, noting that he advocated during that time for the 1,400 workers at the steel plant. I've spoken with these workers and they appreciate the hard work we have done to fight for those jobs and for Butler, PA. My family and I look forward to putting this distraction behind us. And then the Met Gala drama happens. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sparked controversy after donning a white gown at the star-studded 2021 gala with the words "Tax the Rich" emblazoned in red on the back. The probe began with a referral from the Office of Congressional Conduct, which suggested the New York Democrat paid many of her bills related to the dress, accessories, room service, and transportation months after the event, not before, and only after her campaign received threats from vendors and was notified of the investigation. The ethics report released Friday notes that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez proactively took steps to ensure her compliance with the gift rule, including by engaging counsel prior to her attendance and by arranging to rent her apparel and to pay for various services out of her personal funds. Then the committee commended her for those efforts, but found that she relied on counsel, staff, and designers to calculate fair market rates for items she wore. Those calculations did not fully account for the true cost of the unique goods and services that she received, the report states. And while the committee did not find that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's violations were knowing and willful, she nonetheless received impermissible gifts and must bear responsibility for the other conduct that occurred with respect to the delays in payment. The report continues. The committee ruled that it would be inappropriate for the New York Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to make additional payments, at which point it would consider the investigation closed. She accepts the ruling and will remedy the remaining accounts as she's done at each step in the process. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez Chief of Staff Mike Koska said in an emailed statement on Friday. The House Ethics Committee is an internal and typically secretive body made up of 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans. Representative Michael Guest, Republican Mississippi, is the chair, and Representative Mark DeSaulnier, California, is a ranking member. Also on Friday, the committee announced it would extend probes into Democratic Representative Henry Cuellar out of Texas and Florida Democratic Representative Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. The New York Times bravely reported earlier this month that the Justice Department is continuing a bribery case against Henry Cuellar, who, along with his wife, was indicted by a federal grand jury in 2024 for their alleged participation in a year-long scheme involving Azerbaijan and a Mexican bank. Both Henry Cuellar and his wife have pleaded not guilty. Note to you, in the district where Henry Cuellar is, he's probably the most heavily Republican individual that's there. He runs as a Democrat. He is all for big oil. He is all for big jobs. He is all for fucking bringing home bacon to his district. I can say this because I see what he does in South Texas. He is not a friend to the Democrats in Washington, D.C. He's not nearly on the same side. And he's, for the most part, pro-immigration and nationalization. He wants people to become citizens. He's not a friend to the deep state. Keep your eyes on how he loses next. So, back to the article. The committee is aware of the risks associated with dual investigations and is in communication with the Department of Justice to mitigate potential risks while still meeting the committee's obligations to safeguard the integrity of the House, the committee said in a statement. As for Sherfilis McCormick, the Ethics Committee has voted to reauthorize an investigative subcommittee, according to Friday's release, which also noted the mere fact of investigation into all these allegations does not in itself indicate any violation has occurred. And they'll have a third subcommittee that will gather later on to exchange snarky comments at the coffee maker. In May, the committee released a referral received from the OOCC, which summarized a series of potential violations, including possibly requesting community project funding that would be redirected for a for-profit entity. They have no plans to look at Nancy Pelosi or her stock picks, but there is an app on the web. You have to pay for it. I don't know the price, but it does have Nancy Pelosi stock tips as a tag, so you can use that in your Play Store search bar. Sherfilis McCormick, though, through a spokesperson, could not immediately be reached for comment on Friday. And that wraps up this article from rollcall.com. Thank you so much.
Wow. That's amazing.
Oh, I love roll call. Roll call does some good stuff. There is one other funny one.
Can
I
you
don't.
bring it up for me? Because
Yeah.
I'm
Hold
trying to
on. Hold on.
Yeah,
Keep your panties on, Janet.
I am.
I know. I know. Whenever I'm on screen, you have the best case of dry vagine there is. Look at all those miniatures. Man, that guy will never leave the desk. Okay. So I'm sharing an article from the New York Post.
Okay, here we
This
go.
is kind of wonky in a daily news sort of way. And Six Nations, feel free to chip in on commentary, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh God, do you want to go down that rabbit hole?
Well, I've been hearing a lot about this the last few
Because
days. It
it
showed
starts with Hitler's right-hand man Hess crashing a plane into England, and then claiming that they were doing a bunch of occult shit, and then Hitler was possessed by a demon, and then we fast forward to 2025 with Grok channeling the spirit of Hitler, making an AI waifu that is now mesmerizing all the gooners. Like, next will be the alien invasion that Werner von Braun was talking about, and I'm all out of tinfoil. I need that heavy duty shit.
So this article, possibly hostile alien threat detected in the unknown interstellar object area. It's a shocking new study which is claiming quite a bit. They even have an article on Fox and they talk about UFOs and blah 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 blah. They even go over Oumuamua from 2017 or 16, whenever that came by. Here we go. A mysterious intergalactic object could potentially be a hostile alien spacecraft that's slated to attack our planet in November, according to a controversial new study by a small group of scientists. The consequences, should the hypothesis turn out to be correct, could potentially be dire for humanity, the researchers wrote in the inflammatory paper, which was published July 16th to the preprint server Arvix4, I guess, Southwest News Service reported. It's a pretty little picture of the comet 31 Atlas as it streaks across a dense star field. The image captured by Gemini North Telescope, the Gemini Multi-Object Spectrograph, earlier in 2025. So, dubbed 31 Atlas, the interstellar entity was discovered on the 1st July, rocketing toward the sun at more than 130,000 miles per hour, Live Science reported. And less than 24 hours later, it was confirmed to be an interstellar object, with initial observations suggesting that it could be a comet that measures up to 15 miles in diameter, larger than Manhattan. That would leave a dent. However, in the new paper, a trio of researchers suggested it might be a piece of extraterrestrial spy technology in disguise, much like what we think Oumuamua was. One of the researchers, Avi Loeb, a prominent Harvard astrophysicist known for linking extraterrestrial objects to alien life, he previously made waves after floating the theory that 2017 interstellar object Oumuamua could be an artificial recon probe sent by an alien civilization based on the odd shape and acceleration. Yes, that thing changed direction quite a couple times as it was rocketing through the solar system. And in the study, which he collaborated on with Adam Hibbard and Adam Crowell of the Initiative for Interstellar Studies in London, where they don't brush their teeth on a regular basis, Loeb postulated that Atlas's trajectory suggests a similarly alien origin, which would be the only way you describe it, because it's not from fucking Earth. The trio felt the object's speed, which was significantly faster than Oumuamua and other objects, and the fact that it entered the solar system from a different angle than the predecessors offers various benefits to an extraterrestrial intelligence. Loeb wrote in a blog post, which we can link here if you so choose, and not read right now. And one benefit is that 31 Atlas will make a close approach to Jupiter, Mars, and Venus, which could allow aliens to stealthily plant spy gadgets there, Loeb wrote. When the so-called undercover UFO reaches the closest part of the sun, Perihelion, in late November, it will be concealed from the view of Earth. And that could be intentional to avoid detailed observations from Earth-based telescopes when it's at its brightest or when gadgets are sent to Earth from that hidden vantage point, Loeb declares. If the anomaly is a technological artifact, this could support the dark forest hypothesis, which argues we haven't found signs of extraterrestrial entities because they are remaining undercover to shield themselves from predators or prey. And Loeb warns that this could suggest an attack is likely and possibly require defensive measures to be undertaken. Odd photo here. They circle this one. This is it, but there's a bunch of other shit in this photo that looks a lot like the things we photographed in the Apollo missions. Oh, wait, can't talk about that. The problem is that 31 Atlas is going too fast for an Earth-based spacecraft to intercept it before it exits the solar system. It's impractical for Earthlings to land on it at the closest approach by boarding chemical rockets, since our best rockets reach almost a third of the speed. However, other scientists have thrown cold water on the so-called origin of the object, which they believe is a comet. Not everything is a comet, not everything is a meteor. And by the way, for those of you that like Anunnaki and Nibiru, keep a focus on this story as it develops throughout the year. All evidence points to this being an ordinary comet that was ejected from another solar system, just as countless billions of comets have been ejected from our own solar system, adds Samantha Lawler, an astronomer at the University of Regina in Canada, who studies solar system dynamics, Live Science reported. In fact, even Loeb admits in his blog that an alien spy probe theory is a little far-fetched, and by far the most likely outcome will be that it'll be a completely natural interstellar object, possibly a comet, probably a comet. The researchers also warned the public to take the paper, which has not been peer-reviewed, with a grain of salt. At least he's willing to say, I might be wrong, check my work. The paper is contingent on a remarkable, but as we shall show, testable hypothesis to which the authors do not necessarily ascribe, yet certainly worthy of analysis and a report they wrote. The hypothesis is an interesting exercise in their own right and is fun to pursue, irrespective of the likely validity. However, critics have called their project a mockery of the work of other scientists who have provided plenty of evidence that 31 Atlas is not evidence of a pending close encounter. However, being that it's a 15-mile diameter comet, we need to keep an eye on it because it would be catastrophic if it got too close to us. Astronomers all around the world have been thrilled at the arrival of the comet, collaborating its use to advanced telescopes to learn about the visitor. Chris Lintott, an astronomer at the University of Oxford, who helped simulate 31 Atlas's galactic origins, tells Live Science any suggestion that it's artificial is nonsense on stilts and is an insult to the exciting work going on to understand this object. However, keep an eye on it. If anything starts to happen, hopefully we'll know before the worst happens.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because wasn't that Oumuamua like only 300 yards and
Like
elongated? Like,
yeah,
it still
and it would
messes up severely, but 15 miles or greater would
one
be a bad
mile
day on
or
Earth.
more is a extinction level event if it's an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the
Now, I'm
things
wondering
that
if this is like a roadside picnic type of thing where maybe there is intelligent life out there and they're just dumping their trash. And what we're finding is like tripping us all the hell out. Because, like, I would think there would be a little bit more stealthy way of surveillance on Earth if they're watching us.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there is, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're coming here on purpose.
They're disguising all their shit as rocks. So we don't get suspicious.
Well, that's one thing I loved about Star Trek when about why the Vulcans decided finally to land on our planet and make contact. When your planet reaches a certain level, of intelligence or whatever, they make themselves known to you to see if you want to jump on board. And whenever they went to a planet where the people were not prepared, they tried not to interact, or make themselves known because they weren't ready for the technology.
That's not very reassuring because, like, 5-6 years ago, we were hoarding toilet paper and hand sanitizer over a fucking bug.
I know, but I don't know. Maybe something has changed since then.
I don't think anything's changed since then. I just think that the aliens are getting our broadband. I think they're seeing what we've got, and a lot of the aliens are just like, they're like us. They're like, oh my god, look at the booty on that girl. Her Instagram.
I don't think so.
I would laugh. I would laugh and be like, I was right, fuckers. If the aliens come down and start abducting all these fat ass Latinas, I'm gonna just laugh my ass off. You guys have no idea.
Yeah, but they don't want the ass, okay, for the same purpose you would want it for. They probably want to cut it off and make dinner out of it.
How have you? I mean, they might want dinner out of it, or they might just want to breed and make something that might last a little longer. Or I don't know, but I'm not adverse to the idea that aliens wouldn't want to come down here and hybridize with humans of a certain phenotype or body
If they're
type.
all female aliens, then they wouldn't want females like me. They'd want, males.
I mean, there's not a whole lot of places where guys can get traction. If you're telling me that you can go to Altair 4 and get all the pussy you want because the female aliens are fire, I mean, I can see a bunch of young Jim Kirks.
What if they don't look like humans? What if they look like the octopus creatures that were in that movie? That one movie with
There's an entire continent of fucking young boys that wants tentacle sex. It's called Japan.
I'm just saying, I don't know, but you just don't know. I mean, there's no telling out of all the galaxies out there what could be possible on any planet, depending how far away it is from their suns, or what evolved on their planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting one day. I don't think I'll be alive. I think it'll be, maybe a few more 100 years before anybody finds out any of that stuff. But I do think that we have been visited before, though.
I mean, your dad told you about a couple of them, I'm sure.
He did. He believes in it.
And the thing
he was in the Air Force, and he said that there's a lot of things that we have, technologies that the government has, not people, and that when the government's had it for a certain amount of time, and they think that, okay, well, we don't need this one anymore, we're going to pass it on, they give it to someone to invent. And then they bring it out, and then all of a sudden you guys have GPS too. He says, my dad says that they've had it for a long time before anybody knew about it.
Well, Harvick Bentho hit something that is kind of near and dear to what I've been studying for the past 4 decades. He talks about, before I go into my discussion, I came up with my own ridiculous conspiracy theory about why cattle mutilations happen. It goes like this: aliens and cows are engaging in a secret battle for domination of humanity. Cattle have been secretly ruling humans for centuries by cunning and self-sacrifice. They sacrifice their milk and meat to keep us dependent on them and fattened up for the kill. Well, that doesn't really go where I was thinking it would, but the cattle mutilations, and there's also a series of human mutilations. You find those more in Central and South America. The same things that are taken out of cows are taken out of the humans they find mutilated. You'll find that the skull got a very precise cut on it, half the jaws removed, the tongues, orifices, part of the intestine, usually lower intestine or large intestine. You'll find a lot of the digestive exit organs are removed as well. And then you find...
What do you think they're doing with why they're taking certain pieces and parts?
Because from everything I've studied, there's a large sect of ufologists and alien believers that believe that these aliens are us from the future, like 10,000 years. And things for them have gone drastically wrong. They've tried to engineer themselves to the point where they don't need these large, ungainly bodies that get 5 foot tall or over. They have a small core of android parts, those little gray aliens you see, and then they have another different caste in their society of actual living creatures. The living creatures are altered to where they don't have quite everything that we have, and their bodies don't last nearly as long, which is why they're doing these harvests. If you want to know more, there's a book that was written about 40 years ago. Not a book, it's a documentary by Linda Moulton Howe called Strange Harvest. And it's the basic place anybody that wants to study ufology and cattle mutilations should start, because everything that you need to know is detailed in that hour-long piece. I think it was on HBO. You can find it with a search, with a Bing or Google search. You could go find it and watch it. It's very enlightening. It's very unusual. It scares the shit out of you. And the fact is that they not only do that to humans, they also dissect. They not only do that to cattle, they are cutting up humans as well.
Well, on the lighter side of things, I would recommend the movie Planet of the Female Invaders from 1966. It's a little more lighthearted. These space vixens come down to Earth and... Go ahead.
No, there was another one. I want to say it was Close Encounters has like all the mainstream stuff about ufology that was popular in the 70s. They compiled into one giant movie, and they did a really good job of it. That's another good starting point, because it does actually have teachable moments in it. But yeah, Jacques Vallée, Passport to Magnolia, that's a really good book. I don't know if he's correct on it, but I don't believe.
What does it say? What are aliens?
There's
in that story or that book.
There's a lot to summarize in that book, and it's been about 2 decades since I read it. From what I remember, God, no, I'm clouding that. I'm confusing that with something else. Have Hardwick describe that, or bring the Hardwick in here. But that book there goes into a different theory that they were hypothesizing that aliens were a literal extraterrestrial race, not an ultra-terrestrial from Earth, but they're not exactly quote unquote real. He kind of goes into the fact that they might be ultra dimensional, but he doesn't really detail in that book so much. That came out in his later writings. But there's weird stuff that's out there, quote unquote, and I hate being like, just trust me, bro, but we've documented humans have documented well over 56 different types of aliens out there. And the ones that we've seen quite a few, we've got a lot of documentation about them. A large chunk of them kind of have us on a menu board.
Mm-hmm.
We're not exactly just like, sentient creatures according to them. We're part of the diet. And I honestly believe that a lot of times whenever they have people
Are they like lizards?
There's all sorts of things. Like some of them are lizards, some look like avians, some of them look like humans, some of them look like Nordics and are true quote unquote Nordics. There's another group that was
and all of these different ones all eat humans.
Not all of them, about probably half. But the ones that were the ones that scared the shit out of Ronald Reagan when they gave him the briefing on it from the paper in 1977 are called trantiloids. And they're supposedly an insectoid-like race, more like mantises, but they are more of a shapeshifter or use a hologram or illusion type device to appear as Nords, because we trust the Nordics.
Mm-hmm.
And Hardwick, okay, this was the story. The aliens aren't really from another planet, but like an extra-dimensional or supernatural types. And they're the same beings documented in Celtic fairy and elf lore. That he also, his early studies, he thought they were extraterrestrial. And the ultra-terrestrial, the extra-dimensional shit came out later in his research, if I'm remembering right. Now, the thing that is unusual about what Hardwick just says there in your highlighted comment,
mm-hmm.
From what Stephen Greer has said, there's a program on the internet, or a service called Gaia. And Gaia is interesting because Gaia is split into 2 separate types of programming. One of it's paranormal stuff, UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, weird shit, fairy things. The other half of Gaia is how to do yoga. And Greer is a founder of Gaia. Stephen Greer, he's a surgeon, and he founded this network to where you could go watch it, and half the time it's about UFO shit, and the other half the time it's about like unlocking your chakras. Well, a lot of people believe that there's some actual science to Gaia, to where after a certain point in your studies, you're not seeing the quote unquote the DMT aliens. You're talking to aliens. and whatever
You
you're
open
doing,
yourself up to these extra dimensional forces.
yeah,
And
opening yourself to that, I feel, is a worrisome affair. And I always worry whenever one of my friends says, like, "Oh, I started doing yoga." I'm like, "Yikes!" I don't really support that. A lot of my friends that are of the Indian heritage stay away from yoga because of the fact that what they find as they get to that sixth and seventh chakra, it has a voice, it has an agenda. Typically, it's not healthy to have prolonged contact. And this is just my own personal opinion.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say something about what Hardwicky's post.
Yeah, and you just
I
added
remember,
something.
yeah, when I was young, I remember my mother, because we for some reason maybe it was when I told my mom that I thought I saw that alien. Remember, I told you I was about 7 years old. That I remember 7 or 8 when that happened, and I told my mom about it, and that I couldn't see anything. All I could see was a blackness, and it was the shape of a person. It looked like with lights, coming out of the blackness, like it was a black hole with lights coming from it, all different colors. And my mother said that she believes a lot of people were probably seeing angels of some sort, because angels would come and do the bidding of God, or she believed that dark angels would be doing the bidding of the devil. Okay. This is what my mother told me, and she wasn't Catholic or anything, but she said that she believed that a lot of people would see either one. Let's say that you were in a room at the hospital with your loved one that was dying, and that the angel of death would come to take that person at that time, and either you were in falling asleep or whatever, but you were in this state in between sleep and being wide awake, in that realm. Like, you see in, what was it, in the Constantine, when he puts the feet in the water and he holds the cat to try to open a doorway. My mother believed, because you got to remember, her mother was a Indian that was raised on an Indian reservation, Chickasaw, and a lot of the stuff my mother believed, that a lot of people might see an angel and think it's an alien, because it doesn't look specifically like a human. It might be short, might be tall, it depends on what they see. But a lot of them say they see bright lights and things like that. Or they look fairy-like, because a fairy is beautiful. Like that video, I think I shared it with you, the young boy that had fell and broke his arm. I'll have to find that video and share it tonight, because this is a perfect setting for it. He fell and he broke his arm, and he's at the emergency room with I think it's his grandmother and his mother, and maybe one of his siblings. And they give him a shot because they're going to set his leg or his arm. Set his bone. And you see his pupils get really big. And then he starts talking to Jesus, and he starts talking to God, and how beautiful they were. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. He says it all the time. And he talks about how he wished he could be a good boy for his mom. I think he's like 13. He's 13 years old, something like that. But he looks younger than that. He's got a baby face, I think. And then he says hi to his father. And I get real emotional because his father's dead. Okay. And then he says hi to his papa. And he's like telling his dad, "I love you, and I'm trying to be good for mom." And can you see mom? Did you see me skating? All this different stuff, because I think he's like in that realm, like I was starting to say, that where a lot of us, I think, if you're in the right frame of mind or in the right place, that you can contact, the people who have passed on or whatever. I believe that kind of stuff. But that's what my mother used to always tell us, that she didn't think that there were creatures from other planets that came to Earth, like my dad would say. Okay, so it was two different points of view, but that she thought that it was probably angels that are here doing whatever their jobs are, and that they don't really say anything to us or anything, but they that we see them, and so we fill in the gaps of what we think they look like, for our own sanity or whatever. And that's one reason why when people would see, when what was it, Moses saw the burning bush, that was all he could comprehend, of what God was, and his way of seeing it and accepting it, and being able to live with it and not go crazy or whatever. It was that he saw a burning bush that spoke, that type of thing. So, I just think it opens so many doorways and so many different people when you bring up any of this stuff, because it's potentially, we don't know what it is, until we actually see one step out of a ship or contact people where people can see it, lots of people. I don't know. I had a person that was saying that they saw the video that you showed earlier with the lights and stuff like that, and it's coming towards Earth, right?
Mhm.
That they said that it's second coming, that it's Jesus and his angels or whatever on their way to Earth. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. It could be anything. We've had people that have played different weird noises that they've gotten from outer space. And sometimes some people say it sounds like it sounds like hell, it's so scary. And then others say it sounds like angels singing, So it is our interpretation of what it is that we're absorbing and what our mind puts together for it. You know what I mean? That's why I'm thinking that it's so different. Everybody's point of view is similar, and some of them are very similar, and then others are just total opposites of each other because of who we are and how we accept information. You know what I mean? Put it together. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I can only tell you what I know from my own experiences in my life and input that I've had. But I truly do believe that there are other planets with life on it. I don't know what the life looks like, but there's just no way with the millions of planets that are out there in the stars that there isn't life on one of them somewhere, or multiple life on different planets. And you would evolve differently, just like what we found when we went to the bottom of the Earth, into the ocean, and they found the vents that are coming out and all the life, teeming of life down there, total pitch dark down there, but they have crabs and plants and fish and all kinds of things that we never see in other areas because they've evolved differently. Just like a fish that got trapped, a family of fish or whatever, they got trapped in a cave, total darkness, pitch darkness, and then someone goes down there and they find them, and it's like, what the heck, It's interesting, and that's on our own planet. That's not even being out there. So I can't even imagine what life there might be out there. And just like they're thinking that on Mars, who knows, microbes of some sort, but it's still live. So what do you guys think? Think I'm crazy?
I think you've seen something.
Well, I've seen something. I know I saw something. I just don't know what it was because I could only explain what I saw, and nobody's been able to tell me what I saw. So that's what makes it shitty.
When I was a 2-year-old kid, my mom's got these pads of paper that they used to buy. They have the 50-cent sale at Ben Franklin, and they still got the Ben Franklin stamp on it. But this giant freaking pad of paper where all I drew was big circle with 2 little circles, but then a vertical slit in there, and I had all these pictures of various stick figures and a bigger stick figure, which Mom said when I was a young kid, the big stick figure was me. And there's a bunch of little ones, and she's like, "What are these?" And they're the moon people. And I have no idea what that means. Like, was I an abductee as a kid? Was I visited? I don't want to think I was. I don't want to think I was a space case like that. I don't want to. But this is something my mom used to tell me. I filled up an entire pad of paper with this for like a month straight. I was doing that, and my mom was just kind of confused. It's like, you're not leaving for the moon at night. You're staying in your your bedroom, in your crib, you know. And it was just one of those weird things, but you know, it was just got this in the spare room still in the house I grew up with in Latham, and it if you ask her about that, she kind of, oh yeah, I remember that. Mom's 74 now. This is quite a few years ago, and it was maybe 6 months after that where they took me to go see that film, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which was after I saw that movie. I didn't have a pad of paper or anything. I wasn't focused on that, but I was making these stupid drawings all the time because you know how you give kids like pad and paper. Go ahead, mark this up. Don't mark up my walls. And mom's happy, but I filled up an entire pad with that, and like I don't know why, you know. And I've had weird dreams and all that, but I don't want to say like anything like, oh, I was an experiencer. You know, give me my own YouTube channel and I'll talk about this and get 70,000 people, and I'll have my hot girlfriend dance on stream, and she'll do squats for subs and all that. No, I'd rather just be like, there's weird stuff, because like there was plenty of times where you would be watching just the sky or be sitting in the backyard and you'd see something like a bright white light zoom past from horizon to horizon. It takes less than 3 seconds, and that was in central Illinois where you'd see that. I saw it a couple times at our country house, saw it a couple times on the playground recess, and you know, nothing too specific, all first kind type encounters, but probably upwards of 20 different sightings like that. And I had a couple friends with me a few times where we actually both saw the same thing and talked about it, but 7 minutes later we'd forgotten all about it. And okay, well, they blew the whistle for recess. It's over, and we only remembered it, you know, in passing a few times. But that's happened to me like about 20 or 25 times where I've seen a white light streaking across just the sky, middle of Illinois, cloudy day or sunny day, you could still see it. And there's, you know, there's just some odd things that there's definitely something out there that's doing something. I don't believe they're quote unquote they're anything more than like demons or ultra terrestrials, because if they were terrestrial based, they would have to abide by the rules of the physics we abide by. But there's too many times where we've seen evidence where like UFOs, or there's an account where UFO disappears into the ocean and it just vanishes from view, or where we have like people say like they see aliens 1 second and next second they just fade from view. I'm not even talking about like the Bigfoot phenomenon, although there's even UFO reports from Pennsylvania, 1956, 57, and 65, where they see UFOs in Pennsylvania, and then like the following week is filled with nothing but hairy humanoids between 7 and 10 feet tall, spotted all over the hillsides. That happens quite a bit. But
well,
you know,
one of the other things that you made me think of was when you were talking about, you know, taking things to different places and stuff like that. I remember my dad telling me a story one time about how a bunch of people were talking about, I don't remember what year it was or anything like that, about when it happened. But when he was young, he just said when he was young, there was a bunch of people talking about this one person who supposedly went from one side of the planet to the other. And he did it within a day or something like that. And a lot of people were talking about it. And I said, well, there's no way they could do that. They'd have to take a plane or something. He said, well, it was really quickly. It wasn't even where they would be able to take a plane. He said it was so fast. There's just no way. It was impossible for someone to do that with the technology that we supposedly have. And he said that the way they do it is they fold time. And he was trying to explain it to me. He said he took a piece of paper and he made it look like an S, almost an S shape, but it had like a two. This side was round, and then it went around to another side, and then back over, almost like a really weird looking M. And he turned it sideways.
like golden.
It was like a circle. I mean, I'd have to draw you a picture.
Janet, did you ever watch or did you ever get Mad Magazine?
Yeah, I've seen Mad Magazine, but no, it wasn't like that.
The final page of every
It was
Mad
like
Magazine.
2 circles like this, and then this part was a circle too. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, see this? See how this goes? It's a half circle.
Yes.
Okay, now take another half circle and put it right here.
Okay.
Okay, so you draw that line.
A solid S curve with an extra
Solid
curve.
line. And he took a piece of paper and he folded it like that. And he said, now, if I put you in here, okay, and he said, and I folded time, you would go like that. And now you're over here that fast. He said, that's what it was like. And that they had that technology to do that.
There's an explanation in every bad or B movie that we've watched where they talk about folding space, and literally you're folding a piece of paper one side onto another, and it's a picture within a picture. You have a funny picture here, but when you fold it over, it actually makes sense. And there's usually words at the top and bottom that when they all come together, they say something completely different.
I had Mad Magazine, and you could do that. You know,
Yeah, the Mad fold-ins.
Fold 2 pieces of paper like this, and they go in those little slits. Remember those?
Yep.
And when you pulled it like that, it made a picture. And then when you put it back together, it would disappear. Things like that.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But I don't know. It was just the way my dad explained it to me. It almost made made sense. I understood it. So I don't know. I'm just just spouting off about something that I thought was very intriguing. But as I got older, I was like, yeah, he was just, trying to, make me happy, because I believed that one day we would be able to go to other planets and do all those types of things. And that's why we loved Star Trek. We watched old reruns of Star Trek together, watched all kinds of old sci-fi movies, and all that stuff, because my dad was really into that. And, I loved horror, and my mom would watch some horror. She liked thrillers and stuff like that more than, Friday the 13th, that kind of stuff. She wasn't really into that. But, so
I don't know a single woman that loves slasher flicks.
Do what?
I don't know a single lady that likes slasher films. I just don't.
I like them. I like scary movies.
Scary
that
movies
movie, High Tension, I've been trying to get you to put on the list.
Which one?
That European indie movie, High Tension.
High Tension.
I think it's on the list.
Yeah,
I
that
finally
is
invented it and put it on the list.
a lot of people I know, even guys, said that they couldn't handle it. It was too real scary. It gave them nightmares, things like that. So
Okay.
it's psychological, but also slasher. I mean, I can't explain any different. It's really good. You haven't seen it, so I would love to watch that with you. It's very good. But I'm really getting beat. So what time is it?
I don't know.
It is. Yeah, it's after midnight. It's almost 12:30.
After midnight. Okay.
So, but I want to say thank you, both you guys, for hanging out tonight with me.
I had a lot of fun.
It was
Yeah,
fun.
it's nice. I like getting stuff off my chest, trying to get things out, listen to what other people think about it. And sometimes it'll make you look at it a little different. And boy, Rooftop, he sure knows his stuff, don't he?
I love having Rooftop on.
Yeah, he is really smart, very intellectual, but he's very driven in one direction. It's that way or nowhere else. You know what I mean? But I think he's
I found him to be very down to earth. There's certain individuals
both of you guys.
I knew this guy that literally made satellites for a living, and he was socially awkward. But if you were talking about rocket trajectory or advanced mathematics, he was right there in the middle of the conversation.
Yeah.
Then you got other individuals that they can be social and spout all this knowledge, and half of it might get absorbed, the other half goes way over your head. But you're there in the conversation. You can kind of.
That's me. A lot of the stuff when I'm in conversations like this, sometimes I really listen as best I can, but a lot of it just goes over my head. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing connects, because I guess I'm just not that intellectual when it comes to certain aspects of things. But, I do try to listen. I do try to absorb the information. And maybe if I heard it more than once or maybe 25 times, I might remember some of it, but
I wouldn't
you know,
say that you're
I'm
not
honest about it.
intellectual. I wouldn't say you're
What?
not an intellectual. You're just unlearned.
Well, I'm just not, I just haven't heard about it before. I don't understand what they're trying to say. But I do, you know, like me with this whole thing, all of this, learning how to do this, I thought I'd never learn. I mean, it was so freaking hard to understand a lot of it. Once it's like when you got on, when I shared my computer with you and you were showing me, and I was like, what? Really? You know, I was shocked how much easier it was. And my mind was not letting me make it as easy as what you showed me when you were, you know, like if someone was sitting
Hardly
here
if
with
you've heard of Jack Parsons
helping
and
me,
the
it made
occult
a difference.
nature
Do
that
what?
he was in. It's interesting when you start looking into NASA. Oh, the rocket
Part?
labs,
Mm-hmm.
the U.S. government, and the
Yep.
occult connections between the folks in NASA, the naming of our various satellites and
Mm-hmm.
projects, all
And
having,
this whole
you know,
thing with CERN,
mythological background and whatnot.
I hear a lot of scary things from CERN about the whole thing about the collider, you know, stuff, and what possibilities could arise from that simply on the biblical side. You know what I mean? But I have a lot of people that are very religious, you know, in my family. So, and different religions. Some are Catholic and some are just Protestants. Some of them are just Baptists, you know, and some are American Indian. So I got a lot of different, you know,
I kind of hold
fingers.
the biblical view on things. So, like, you know, rebuke first and then verify second, just to be
Yeah.
safe.
Well, you know, we all have to do is what we can. But the thing is, what we're doing right here, talking about it, is what I think is the most important. Because just like you said, it takes a bunch of different types of people to be able to sit around and figure things out. That's why I love I don't know if you guys are like me, but when I was little, I used to love to sit in there with the older people, like my grandparents, and they'd have their own little group, like at Thanksgiving, and I would sit on the floor and listen to a lot of their stories instead of going and playing with all the other kids, because I thought the stories were so intriguing and interesting. You know, they talked about things that they did when they were kids, and you know, when they served in the military, different things that they talked about. And then I just thought it was great. I don't know if any of you guys ever did that, but a lot of my sisters said it's boring. I don't want to hear about that stuff. It's old crap or what, you know, whatever it was. But to me, it was always very interesting. But history was one of my very favorite. Science and history are my two favorite things in school. And I loved, you know, watching documentaries, history documentaries, all those things, and things about like us going to the bottom of the ocean or trying to, you know, we haven't been able to do that yet because we get crushed, you know, like a tin can. All that stuff's very interesting to me. And going to outer space, all this, you know, anything to do with science, I really want to understand more and more and more of it and try to absorb as much as I can, because it's just, to me, it's very, very interesting. So one day I'll know all of it. You know, the day that I die, I'll know I'll have answers to everything, right? At least that's what my mother said. But we'll find out. Well, we'll by ourselves, but
I blame my upbringing.
Why?
Well, I was influenced by my aunts and uncles and various relatives, and then they had me watching, you know, horror movies from a very young age. We're talking like 2 on up. I'd sit on my
Yeah.
grandfather's knee and we'd watch TV till it actually went off the air, and it was a lot of you know, Benny Hill and creature features. So it could be a gamut of classic horror movies or
Yeah, my grandma loved
sci-fi.
Benny Hill.
So then, being a product of the 80s, we also had the Time Life book series, Mysteries of the Unexplained, and all that other stuff, Fate magazine. Bigfoot, you name it.
Yeah, all the
It's all fascinating
topics.
stuff.
Yeah, all of them covered. But I just want to say thank you guys again, and thank you for everyone who's hanging out with us in the chat. I really appreciate it. I hope we didn't drive you guys too crazy, but thank you, Bruce, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep, look forward to having you two in my panel for tomorrow's game.
It's gonna be fun.
Janet, you're kind of on the hot seat for if you remember how we ended last game. So
yeah,
good luck.
I may not make it. I may not make it. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. You better be there.
Well, I'll be there, but I'm gonna be really tired, I think.
Oh, for crying out loud! Go pop some melatonin.
I can't take melatonin. It gives me nightmares. But I'll take a Benadryl. That makes me sleepy. So hopefully I'll
All right,
sleep.
chat. You heard it first. Melatonin makes you the ideal wife or girlfriend.
Yeah. Why? Because it makes me have nightmares, and then I can't sleep.
Having a wife that requires your peace and presence at night in bed just validates your ability as a man to be exactly what you are, and validates your role in that relationship. That's why whenever I hear somebody say like, "Oh, I love scary movies. I love going on dates with for scary movies," and you're just like, "Yeah, I see how this works." Like the movie starts and you're both in your separate seat. By the end of the film, the
I saw Nosferatu by myself.
the wife or girlfriend's in the husband's seat, like completely just like wrapped around him as much as she can in the theater, whatever it may be.
Isn't that why guys used to take girls to the movies?
Exactly why you take a woman to the scary movies.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That reminds me of an awkward situation. I think I've told you guys that already.
Grumpy, let me know when you want to play. I'll get your character set up.
Okay, well, I want to
It was
say
back
thank
in the
you
90s.
for your time. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if I want to say it on stream. It's a little embarrassing. But so I had friends. I've told you guys I've had friends in the video store and cinema industry. So I got to see a lot of movies for free, or a lot of movies in general. And there was one time where I was waiting for my friend to get off work, and he let me in to go see a movie. And the only thing that was really interesting playing at that time was James and the Giant Peach, the animated movie.
Yeah.
And this was back in the 90s. This was before the trench coat mafia, so I had myself a nice officer's trench coat, my long ass ponytail, because that was the trend, and I was looking rather dapper. And I'm thinking, I'm a little bit late for this movie. It started about 5-10 minutes earlier, so I go in. It's already playing, and the place is just packed with parents and their kids. And I happened to find the only seat that was available, which was right near the handicap section. So it was like a singular seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching the movie, and I'm digging it. The animation was cool. It wasn't a bad flick. I'm always into like stop motion animation and whatnot. And during one of the parts of the movie where the screen got bright, I was noticing out of the corner of my eye a ton of parents looking over at me. And then it dawned on me, I'm a 20-something-year-old kid in a trench coat in a movie theater full of children, and it just looked awkward and really bad. And I'm like, oh God, they must think I'm a creeper. This sucks.
Yeah. But nobody approached
I got through
you,
the
right?
movie, and I got the hell out of there real quick, and I started busting up laughing, and my buddy's going in to clean that particular theater, and he's like, dude, what's got you laughing? I'm like, oh, this is the whole situation. So I explained to him the dirty looks and everything, and he's like, oh man, that would have been so bad. And so I guess I dodged a bullet.
Mm-hmm. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Last thing I want is like 50 angry parents, and then my buddy getting flack.
Mm-hmm. But it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
That's good. But yeah, I think we've all done something like that. I had to sit and think about how many times I've done something embarrassing like that. But never know. But
If one last thing, if you guys are still like awake and want something else to watch, there's a character on YouTube called Timothy Alberino, and he does a lot of trips and such. Goes down to Peru quite a bit. A couple years ago, he did some amazingly detailed videos where he studied the Las Vegas UFO sighting, where UFO was, or a meteor, one of the two, was caught on a cop's body cam, and then he went to a house where there was something causing a problem in the backyard, and that all happened within one night. And then around the same time, we started hearing a bunch of stories out of Peru. South America has always got something going on with extraterrestrial stuff. I don't know what it is down there, but Peru has got something kind of interesting in the San Antonio district. It's a small village filled with people that are largely existing off of 2004 technology, but they've got some interesting video, and they call the aliens face peelers. There's some truly terrifying
I've
stuff.
heard this before.
Yeah, there's some truly terrifying stuff going down there in Peru. He even did a trip down there and came back with new findings and new research. Timothy Alberino is a really good ufologist. I like what he studies. I like the way he relays information. I don't believe
It's like a
he's
modern
really
day Indiana Jones.
yeah, he kind of gets in the worst spots to do the research, but he spends a lot of his time and focus on South America. Just if you're wanting to look up something else, if you're not wanting to focus back on the lack of a credible discussion of the Epstein list, or what exactly did Ghislaine Maxwell discuss while she was in the courtroom on her second day, if you're not willing to hear all the various things that should be coming out, if you're tired of the circus that they're shoving in our face, the puppet show that the deep state wants us to watch, go check out Timothy Alberino.
Yeah, I first heard of him on Blurry Creatures on Spotify.
Yep.
So that was kind of cool.
Blurry Creatures is a good show. You know, the other one that I found is really interesting is Ducks Unlimited. Ducks Unlimited for me is like when I first heard that was a podcast. Oh, well, they're going to talk about hunting and all sorts of things to do with taxidermy and all the things that an outdoorsman would do. And I tune into it, and holy fuck, it's just turned into the facts to how to hunt. But it's not with one guy like the facts or the how-to facts how to hunt is with Steve out of BC. But you've got some guys out of American South. That the Ducks Unlimited podcast is crazy, and it talks a lot about Bigfoot, the fairies, the paranormal. It goes into some weird territory for what's called Ducks Unlimited. I would have never thought they would have focused on the paranormal shit in the deep woods.
Interesting.
Anyway.
But thanks a lot, everyone. I really appreciate it, and it was a pretty good show. I think it was very informative. I think we learned a lot, and it was nice having another person join us on the show.
I've been wanting to have Rooftop Korean on here for a while.
It's been a while. The last time I did anything with him is when we did the relationship show, because he was in the chat when Jennifer and I did our show. And he didn't agree with it. He didn't agree with some of the things that we talked about. So he said, I demand time to say my side of it. So I said, sure, next Thursday, come on and we'll do it. And that's why he was on the show. But the relationship one.
That reminds me, if you guys want to follow a cool Rooftop Korean, Tony Moon, one of the original Rooftop Koreans on X. Great guy.
Yeah, there we go.
Grumpy Old Ninja. Ducks Unlimited, fun channel. And if you don't mind, the Dixie Cryptid should be listed in there as well, because he's Cameron's just a very good man. He does a lot of good discussions about various stories with the Bigfoots, the UFOs, all that. But Steve Mara, I'll be looking at that.
that's a lot of stuff. You did all that today, or
This is the past 5 days.
5
Except for
days?
this guy
Wow.
right here. I actually like these here. I did in the last week and a half. No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. But these guys here were all recently, like within the past 5 days, and so the miniature shelf will be getting stocked once I do the.
I was going to ask Six Nations something before we go off. When you see Bruce painting stuff now, do you start thinking in the back of your mind, when is he going to spring that on us? Do you do that? Because I do it.
Janet,
I try not to think about that.
I've painted up so many of these ogres that you should just be like, oh God, it's another ogre.
Well, I'm still waiting for that one dragon that I saw you painting. I keep saying, oh, he's going to whip this out on us.
Janet, you're not that you're not going to see it, but it's going to be a year. What you should worry about, what should you worry about in the near future?
Yeah,
is,
it's those guys.
The two King and Queen of Hell. That Reaper
I
put out.
disagree.
What?
All right, that all makes sense. Okay, big ass dragon, 2-headed ogres, whatever. Cool. I can deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy RPGs, cool. Sci-fi, okay, cool. It's when you start going into the darker side of miniature painting, and you get yourself a waifu pillow, and then you start getting into the hentai figures, and then it starts getting creepy because now you're getting that into the game.
Yeah.
That's a big move.
I don't really like that. I have my preferences, mind you, but I don't really dig.
The only tentacles I want to see were like in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the big monster
and no furries. Unless they're werewolves or
like
yeah, we've got all that now. We're fighting all kinds of weird stuff.
The 2 games ago with Travis in the high level Pathfinder game, like I was describing everything as you guys were finding Oslin, the canine faced Hound Archon, Janet, and leading up to that, like there's this room that's like just all they give a bare bones of it, like straps, chains, restraints, Iron Maidens, everything, like, but there's a level of darkness and grime and grit and sin that's all around. And I interpreted that as like, okay, here's the nasty BDSM dungeon. And then Travis is like, oh, here's Bruce's fetishes. I'm like, not really. I'm not into that. I'm 50. If I would have been 20 and been exposed to it, it'd be completely different, you know. But once I figured out what I really enjoy, and then you're trying to tell me like, no, you're supposed to bleed when you have sex. I'm good. Hard pass.
It's all fun and games till you lose the key or forget your safety word.
Yeah, I don't want to have.
Do it. There you go.
Hey, Grumpy, this is one of my favorite shirts. I'll wear this shirt until like I wear the threads out. Yeah,
it's nice. I think it's hilarious. But I just want to say thanks again, and yeah, it's almost 1. So we got 120 people watching.
Love y'all guys. Thank you for showing up to this game.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
More than likely tomorrow, if we have any hiccups, we'll just be broadcasting on my channel. If I can get everybody to get onto FMUX, we're going to try that. And if that works out good, if we can hear Six Nations and he has good stable connection, if Crafting Gamer has good stable connection, we'll have those guys on there as well. If not, we'll just use Restream and broadcast on my channel. Then we'll also, of course, simulcast to Rumble because I prefer Rumble to YouTube. Their policies, even if their tech isn't all the way up, I prefer their policies, and I think they're in a position to where they could really have a good audience over the next few years.
Yeah, I'm on Rumble too right now. So
I'm on Rumble, X, YouTube, Discord.
Yeah. But I just want to say thank you one more time.
CenturyLink jacked the prices on the internet here, and we're waiting for better internet to show up. There's another company that's supposed to be coming in the next couple of months, I think. So
good.
hopefully
give you
in the future,
options.
my connection will be much better.
I thought
Yeah,
I
or at
think
least
it's a lot
cheaper
better now.
Wi-Fi.
But I
That's
just want to
because
say thank
everyone
you for
went to
your time.
bed. We don't got like 20 devices sucking on the bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
Help computer, stop all the downloads.
Well, you guys have a good night, okay? And everyone else, I hope you have a wonderful weekend if we don't see you again. But hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. You can stop in and say hello while we're playing. But you guys have a wonderful night. Good night.
Well.
You wear nice clothes, people think you're showing off. If you wear simple clothes, people think you're poor. If you speak your mind, you're rude. If you stay quiet, then you're a coward. If you're successful, then you're arrogant. And if you're struggling, then you're lazy. You see, no matter what you do in life, people will always have something to say. So ignore people and their opinions. Because so long as your God is pleased with you, who cares what people think?
He knows that this is much bigger than him. This is about the American people. They have no idea what they have unleashed. He was ready to go face the cameras and come out swinging.
What will future Americans say we did in our brief time here on Earth? It will be defined by your vision, your perseverance, and your grit. Nothing will sway us, nothing will slow us, and no one will ever stop us. We are Americans. Ambition is our heritage. Greatness is our birthright. And the future belongs to us.